Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week in Springfield, Oregon, when a woman is found in the woods, police wonder who could have done it. A cult? The Green River Killer? Idiot teenagers? Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us this week. We are excited once again for murder, which sounds weird, but we'll explain it. It's going to be good stuff. Trust me. First of all, thank you to everybody for your reviews this week. Apple Podcasts, the purple icon. We're not sure why.
No.
It brings you up the charts.
Just do it.
We don't know why, but it helps out a lot on the business end. So if you haven't done it yet, give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. Your words can't fix us. So nice things are nice, but it's like we said.
Don't waste it there.
It's not for our ego. It's just for business purposes. Say these guys are forcing me to do this. It doesn't matter what you say. So thank you to everyone who's done that. Also go to shutupandgivememurder.com.
Yeah.
My goodness, for all of your small town murder needs.
And that's it.
And also your crime and sports needs.
Yes.
If you have not listened to Crime and Sports, you were missing out. Listen to Crime and Sports. There's plenty there that has nothing to do with sports. If you're not a sports fan, it's just a way to disguise making fun of an idiot.
Right.
And those are the idiots we've chosen because we feel like they hold a particular place in society, and watching them fall from grace can be a good time.
It's a lot of fun.
So watch that or listen to that. Check that out if you haven't yet. I'll get all your merchandise. I'd say get your tickets to live shows, but it looks like we're sold out through the rest of the 2019. I think there's like 5 tickets left in Houston.
That's about it.
And I mean 5, literally.
Like, literally. Count to 5. That's it.
Everywhere else is sold out. Chicago sold out in December now. So we're all done on that. There is tickets to April 8th in Nashville, Tennessee, Crime and Sports Live. There's a few tickets left for that. The Small Town Murder the night before is sold out. But come see that. Check those out. We're going to announce a new slew of tour dates very soon.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. And also, if you also write from shutupandgivememurder.com, you can get to patreon.com if you want to be one of our heroes, one of our producers who we're going to gush about in just glowing terms at the end of the show. You can be one of these people. And by the way, new Patreon episode tomorrow. Everyone above the $5 level, we put out like a bonus episode it's usually every like 4 weeks on there, but we're doing one a little early, and it's a crazy one, another Oregon case that we're going to do today. So check that out.
Let me reiterate the thank you for buying all those tickets. You guys
thank you guys
so well, so fast, and the shows have been goddamn dynamite.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
You guys make those shows really fucking amazing.
Yeah, so
James can put together all the work he wants and not sleep for days on end. But if you guys aren't there, it's all for naught.
It is.
You guys have been fantastic. So thank you.
We appreciate it so much. And like we said, Patreon here. It's patreon.com/crime and sports, or head over to PayPal. You can use our email address, which is crimeandsports@gmail.com. You can get to both of those places where?
Over at shutupandgivememurder.com.
That's right. Nice try, Jimmy. Good job.
I almost gave our email address.
We have to do the disclaimer quickly. This is a comedy show. This is a comedy podcast. All the facts are real. Everything is real. But we're going to take a comedic approach to it. That's how we do it. If you've never listened to the show before, the way we look at this, okay, the murder isn't the important part.
No.
Okay, it's not. The murder it's kind of a Trojan horse for comedy. That's what we're doing here. It's a Trojan horse for comedy, and we're going to sneak it in there, and you're like, murder, I'm interested. Hey, this is funny, and then that's what we're doing here. So,
there's dick jokes in this
there
horse.
We go. Well, less more than dick jokes, but yes, that's what I'm saying. You took what I was trying to say, and you made it much worse, but thank you. So what I'm trying to say is we do make jokes. We go out of our way, though, to try not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families, because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
There you go.
That's how that works like that. So if that sounds good to you, we're going to have a good time. If you don't think true crime and comedy should ever go together, you probably shouldn't listen to the show.
Yeah, this
because
is for you.
we're going to be respectful, but we're going to make jokes around things. We're small towns, a bumbling police force. If there's a murderer who's an idiot, we're going to make fun of that person.
Dick, sir.
They deserve it. So why not? But for everybody else, we're going to be good. And if that sounds good to you, I think you should sit back and shout it from wherever you are. I don't care if you're in a cubicle in a conservative office. Let it go.
Get
shout
loud.
Shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, Jimmy.
Fantastic.
Let's go on a trip.
Let's do it.
Let's do this. We're going all the way to Oregon. This time we were in Illinois last week.
Moratorium lifted?
We're lifting the suspension on Oregon just because they're interesting. And we are going to come there in 2020. We're going to announce a tour date. So you guys have been good. So we lifted it a couple months early.
They have been quiet.
They've been good.
It.
They've been good. They took it like stoic woods people that they are. Just they were clad in flannel, and they said, you know what, we deserve this. We should not be correcting Willamette over and over again.
You
God
couldn't
forbid.
see their grimace nor smile through their beard.
That's the thing. So it's all right. It's fine. So and that was only the women. So it was no, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. That's a joke. We're saying the Northwest is chilly.
Hairy.
Well, I was saying also it's chilly. So everyone's gonna grow a very large
veil of hair
and flannel because you need it. You need it. I feel like it's evolution. If we stay up there for several, a million years from now, everyone's face will be covered in hair like the Wolfman who's from there.
I'm dying. That's hysterical.
But sorry, Oregon. We made funny a little bit. But no, suspension lifted. Let's do this. Okay. And let's go all the way. Now, this town, we have to say, it does not fit into our small town parameters.
No.
It is, when it happened, it was a pretty small town.
Yeah.
And it's a small place. It's not, and if you've been to Oregon, Portland feels like a small town, and it's a big city, but it feels like a small town. Mm-hmm. So when you get into smaller cities, they really feel like small towns in Oregon. Everything feels like a small town. And this particular one case happened kind of on the edge of town in a rural area in the woods. Okay. So it counts. Yeah. And when it happened, there was much less people than there is now. So it counts. And there's another fact about it where if this doesn't make it a small town, I don't know what is. So it counts. I don't want to hear any complaining.
I can't wait for this.
And if it's a crazy story, like, so what if there's 10,000 extra people that do you really care? Does it matter to you?
I'm goddamn riveted.
Go to small towns. Whether there's 25 or 40, it does not matter. Yeah. It's the same place.
Colorado Springs has over 100,000 people, and it feels tiny.
That's what I mean. So any place can feel small. This is Springfield, Oregon. Mm-hmm. Springfield, it's in west central Oregon. There, it's near Eugene, which is kind of like right, kind of attached to Eugene. Kind of like
the capital.
Yes. Remember when we did that case in Kentucky? That was the airline pilot got killed by his wife, and the guy with the Mickey Mouse ears and all that. Right. Rusty Medina, I think, was involved. No, that was in a different one. That was an Arizona case.
Was that Arizona?
That was an Arizona Rusty Medina. Right. But anyway, that case, remember how it was Edgewater? It was right on the edge of Kentucky and Ohio, and right across the river was Cincinnati.
Got it.
So it was separated from a city by just a river. That's kind of what this is. It's separated by Eugene, from Eugene, just by a river. Okay. Otherwise, there's it's continuous through there. Like we said, though, small town. It's 10 minutes from downtown to Eugene.
No kidding.
The two downtowns. Just a river of separation. An hour 40 to Portland. Okay. So a little longer there. And about 40 minutes to Dallas, Oregon, which was episode 104.
Okay.
Which was the one that got them suspended. from
Willamette?
From there. It's in
Willamette.
Willamette.
That's what it looks like.
It looks like it. There's no reason to get crazy about it.
Makes all the goddamn sense in the world.
I would say so. Zip code 97475, and there's like 3 other ones in here because it's a little bigger of a space. Okay. 2 area codes, 458 and 541. Oh. So not too much. So it's not like there's a shitload more than that. 15.75 square miles. Okay. Kind of an average town.
Still small.
Still very small. Motto here, quote, proud history, bright future.
Oh.
So they're very optimistic.
Yeah.
That's what the government's trying to put forth in like the town website.
Sure.
But the people, they have their own.
Sure they do.
They have their own war cry.
They goddamn always do.
The cry of the people is, quote, it rains a lot here. Like, a lot. Seriously, everything I own is moldy. So that's what
sopping wet.
That's what that's if you're going to move there, that's what you'll be told. Mm-hmm. I feel like history of this town, Jesus Christ, I love all these crazy town histories. 1848 is the first family kind of settled. It was the Briggs family settled in Springfield, and it was incorporated in 1885. City was named after a spring. And then, that was in a field. So they were literally like Springfield.
Sure.
Which is probably how every other Springfield in every other state in America got titled also, I would imagine. Hey, look, a spring in that field. Or a field in the, whatever the fuck, I don't know.
Right.
There's water over there. Didn't look like there'd be water. It's a field and there's water.
There's water in that wide open area.
That's a town.
All right.
The first inhabitants were obviously native people, Kalapuya people.
Sure.
They had the whole kind of, they actually did like controlled burning to like control where their food came from and where like the animals were. Yeah, they like
controlled burning?
They do controlled burns.
They like burn the animals into a specific area?
So that way they knew.
They'd hunt them there.
Yeah, they
Jesus
move them into like
Christ.
hunting grounds. Yeah, that shit. It's like if people did that now, obviously that would be terrible.
That's fucking torture.
But before there's like machine guns and shit, it's just pretty clever. You know what I mean? Because
I suppose
they're not. We're talking old school weapons and on horseback and shit. This isn't like a German guy with an AK-47 going. Moves the elephant to the field. I take. That's not that. You know.
You go over there, light a fire. I'll light a fire here, and then fucking everybody else start firing into that shit?
No. I think it was a controlled burn, like burn this habitat so everything will be here. Rather than have it here, we're going to make a field here so they can't be there. They'll be over here, and now we know where they are. Rather than in a big area, we've cut the area down to a smaller area. It makes it easier to hunt.
All right. So it's not like burning shit to ambush them.
I don't think it's like set it on fire, and then we'll all set up, and as they run, fucking mow them down.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think it's
what
like,
I saw.
No, it's not like a Joker plot. It's, you know what I mean? It's...
That's goddamn squirrel terrorism.
That is squirrels. I think it's more than squirrels too.
Bison
they were going
terrorism.
For. Yeah, some shit.
Everything.
I don't know. So, the Briggs family settled here. They were the first party to travel to the region through the southern route, which was by the Klamath Lake over the Cascades, and then into a valley, and then north from there. Now they ran Elias Briggs, along with another guy, ran a ferry on the nearby Willamette River.
Yeah.
Willamette River. Got that, Oregon?
Goddamn
we
river.
said it correctly. So Jesus.
In the valley and all of it.
Yeah, that's his partner here, William Stevens, Briggs's partner, was the first settler to stake a claim in Springfield in October 1847. He built a house with his 3 oldest sons, and then it was, the rest of the house was completed, and then the family joined him from there. And I'm sure they all died of smallpox or just exposure or something terrible. Mold poisoning. I'm not sure.
Frostbite.
Something. Another guy came in was Captain Felix Scott Sr.
Oh.
He settled in there also. He's apparently a fancy guy back then there.
Mattered.
I don't know. Mattered to something. Yeah. For years and years, it's been the timber industry there was a big deal, obviously. The Weyerhaeuser, we've talked about them before. Weyerhaeuser, whatever the fuck it is. Weyerhaeuser. Weyer, Hauser.
That's
spelled
stupid.
German. They opened a Springfield complex in 1949. And then I read this. This is from some article here. Quote, after years of aggressive logging, was forced to downsize. Aggressive logging.
Too much.
Take all those fucking all of them. I want every tree.
Punch in the tree while you cut it down.
I want all the birds living on the ground.
Yeah.
All of them.
Every goddamn
nests on the ground. Nothing above ankle height. Understand? Wipe it clean. Yeah. So, also, there was a creamery that opened. The Springfield Creamery opened in 1960 by Ken Kesey's brother, Chuck, and Chuck's wife, Sue. I don't know if you know who Ken Kesey is.
I do not.
Heard of Ken Kesey?
No.
Ken Kesey wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's an author, a great author, and he wrote fucking One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, so he's a master.
Oh, God, it's beautiful.
He's also an awesome, crazy lunatic.
Of course he is.
Awesome, insane person, acid freak from the 60s. Yeah. He's great. Hunter Thompson hung out with him, and he talks about him a lot in his writings, especially in Hell's Angels, where basically Ken Kesey had this group he called the Merry Pranksters. It was him and his friends.
I've heard of that.
That would do insane shit. And basically he had this place in Northern California that was I can't remember what county it was in. Damn it, one of the ones that starts with an M up there.
Oh.
Shit.
Don't look
Northern
at me.
California. I can't remember.
Anyway. Counties.
Anyway.
I can barely remember cities.
He got busted for weed a couple of times and then ended up somehow getting, because back then that was like prison time in the mid-60s, ended up getting away somehow. He owned this big property, had this big property in the woods, and would have huge crazy parties out there. And he invited Thompson to invite the Hells Angels out there.
Oh, that party.
And gave them acid for the first. He introduced acid to the Hells Angels.
Oh, Jesus.
None of them, they were like, oh, it's that, those kids do that shit and all that. But then when they saw it was fun, then they all got into fucking acid. They were like, this is great. But he had huge parties with Hells Angels on acid, just running through the woods, laughing and crazy shit. Naked. Yeah. And then like at this one particular party, they were pulling everybody over that came out of the party. The cops were looking for Hells Angels to roust, basically. And they pull over Hunter Thompson and Allen Ginsberg, the poet, who was a very famous guy too. And they just went down to see what was going on, why the cops were pulling people over. And there's an amazing recording of Hunter Thompson and Allen Ginsberg basically asking these cops a million questions and not getting any fucking answer at all. And it's just them going, well, what are you doing this for? Well, I don't know. They're kind of having it with each other, with the cop, and you just hear like the crackling of the police radio and some shit going on. It's hilarious stuff. And that's Ken Kesey anyway. He's a crazy lunatic.
Ken Kesey fed him the acid that made him go do that.
Well, yeah, we gave everybody the acid. And also, they him and the Merry Pranksters took a cross-country trip after one of his novels was published. And that trip is the basis of the Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test Tom Wolfe novel, which is a big 60s kind of novel about tripping across the country. And so, and a lot of the stuff in that book came from those Hunter Thompson tapes from the Hells Angel parties because they were interested in that. It's very interesting. It has nothing to do with Oregon except for the fact that his brother had a creamery there. So, but I don't know. They also had a bunch of concerts there to save the creamery, where the Grateful Dead would come and do concerts here to save the creamery. Yeah, because he was a big 60s acid San Francisco kind of icon. He was one of the first guys that was really touting how great acid was in the mid 60s here. This was like 65 that we're talking those Hells Angels parties, not later before you're picturing hippies and flowers and all that shit. This is like 3 years earlier, 2 years earlier. So that shit. In 1992, this Springfield became the first municipality in the United States to include anti-gay legislation in its charter after a campaign by the Oregon Citizens Alliance.
What the fuck, Oregon?
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, that doesn't sound
like Oregon at all.
No, Portland is great. There's lesbians everywhere. They're awesome.
Jesus.
And you know what? They love us. And we love them back.
Yeah, that's true.
Lesbians love us and we love them back.
I'll bet there's more rainbow flags than American flags in fucking
There's a lot of rainbow flags, or at least a 1-to-1 ratio.
At least.
Here. But the state legislature passed a law that prevented anti-gay ordinances from being enforced after that, so it didn't matter. So that was just Oregon Citizens Alliance. Sounds like some well-funded out-of-state, Christian group or whatever, religious group of some kind that was sponsoring anti-gay legislation.
They heard there was some gays there.
In a lot of towns, probably. I bet in 1992 there was a lot of anti-gay legislation that those people. It's probably an Oregon Citizens Alliance. I'm sure there was an Idaho Citizens Alliance and a Washington one. And
certainly was an Alabama one.
They don't need it. That's just called Alabama. They don't need an alliance. They have a state with most of the people in it.
When the rebel flag is directly... Never mind.
Yeah, well, never mind. Now, Springfield is surrounded by filbert orchards.
What are those?
That's a perfect segue, by the way, out of us getting ourselves in trouble.
What exactly is a filbert?
Hazelnut.
Oh.
Filbert. It's kind of nut.
That's what they call that?
Yeah, filbert's the actual name, but hazelnut is sounds better than filbert. Yeah. You want to eat a filbert or a hazelnut?
Right.
Hazelnut sounds kind of, hazelnut. Yeah. That sounds kind of rich, a little savory and sweet.
Those are a pain in the ass to get open.
Oh, I'm sure. But
have you ever tried to open a hazelnut?
A filbert sounds like a guy. Sounds like a fat guy.
It does.
Where's Filbert?
Yeah.
He's at the buffet again. It's his fourth serving. Jesus Christ.
At the hometown.
The production has declined over time as the filbert fields have been developed into houses instead.
I can't believe that's what those are called.
They're ruining that. They even had the Filbert Festival for a while there, but then it was canceled in 2007. 98% of American filbert production is harvested in the Willamette Valley.
All right.
So if you like hazelnuts, this is where the fuck they come
Nutella.
from. Now, The Simpsons, Springfield, as you might know, they did a vote to see they did 16 Springfields in the U.S. To promote the Simpsons movie in 2007.
Illinois, Massachusetts.
Tons of, they have them in every state, but they took the top 16 and they had a voting to see which one was the real Springfield, right? And this one took third in the voting.
Really?
Yes, but it doesn't matter because in 2012, Mac Groening told the Smithsonian Magazine that this is the town Springfield was named after. This is Springfield.
This one here,
because that's where he's from.
He's from Oregon.
He spent time in Springfield, Oregon as a child.
This is what it's named after.
This is what it's named after. He said the streets, everything, the people there are named after people in the town and stuff in the town. Yeah, this is Springfield. So that's what I mean. If Springfield from The Simpsons isn't a small town, I don't know what the fuck is. I don't know what is. It's literally Springfield from The Simpsons. So
this is the town.
We're doing it. Yeah, he said he wanted it to be a secret because there's so many Springfields. He thought everybody could relate to it. Yeah, that's why. So he kept it not from being Oregon, but this is the one it's actually based on, so everybody can shut up about it.
How about that?
Absolutely. So this town in 1950 it had 10,000 people in it, so not that big. 1980 had 41,000 people in it. Here today they have 60,000.
Goddamn
people.
Simpsons.
So it's the Simpsons. Just the popularity of it. In Oregon, lots of people are moving to the southwest, to the northwest. And the Southwest, but that has nothing to do with this episode. It's up 36% since 1990. So it will show, it's so many people have moved here recently. And
when did the Simpsons start?
87. 87 on Tracy Ullman. Okay. So they got on the air, I think, in 89.
Got it.
On Fox. So this is right this time when our thing happens in 88.
That's
our
hilarious.
Murder. So it's right around Simpsons time here. There's about 40,000 people here when our story takes place. So we're not stretching much. Everything is kind of average. Male and female are average. A couple years younger, median age. It's usually 37 here. It's about 35. All the under 34-year-old demographics are high. Everything else is a little bit low. It's kind of a younger place. People kind of move out of here, it seems like, when they get older. Less married people than normal. Normal 50-50 here. It's 43% married. So single people, single with no children, there's more people obviously there. More married, more single people with children. There's just more single people. So you're going to have that. So in case you want to go party there. Race of this town, 80% white.
Yeah.
Not a shocker there. It's Oregon.
They're not yellow?
Yellow? Oh, Simpsons. Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ, Jimmy.
You thought I was being racist. You thought I was being a piece of shit.
I thought you were being the cheap. I was like, what? It just didn't sound like you, because your jokes, when you make say a racist statement, it's never intended to be racist. It's always meaning the 2% thing that it shouldn't. Does it mean it's never intentionally racist? That was just shitty and like an old man. I was like, Jesus Christ, Jimmy, what the fuck is happening? I got to edit that out. What is going on here?
No.
I got to edit that out and then talk to you for a while. We have to have a fucking discussion. Like, bro, we can't let the fuck, man.
And now invent an HR department for podcasting.
Bro, that's fucked up, man. But no, Simpsons, yes, they're yellow. Good Lord. Thanks shit for that.
Okay.
0.5% black, so they're definitely not black. 1.4% Asian. Mm-hmm. Sorry. 12% Hispanic. I just looked over to him slow. I did like the Batman head turn. The whole body.
At the hips.
Yeah, exactly. Religion, 25% are religious, so half of the amount normal. So Mike on its own here. It's all spread out. 6% Catholic, 5% other, Christian. It's all 4% Mormon.
How about that?
Well, that's Northwest.
It's real close to that Idaho.
They will infiltrate it here. 0.4% Jewish, 0.1% Islam. So it's not just kind of a spread around. 53.5% of the people voted Democrat in the last election. 35% Republican. 11.5% Independent. That tells you a lot. That's a really high number.
That is very interesting.
That's really high. Well, up there, they're going to, I would assume, too, you're going to get a little more. You're going to get it more extreme in both directions.
Yeah.
You're going to get your Jill Stein voters up there in the last election, and you're going to get, is there a militia running Nazi on the ticket? I mean, somebody who I want him to like have a picture of Hitler on his T-shirt. If there's somebody like that, I'll vote for him.
By George, there might be.
That's the independent there. It's either like more flowers or I said kill all the flowers, God damn it. They make me angry, different colored. They're all different colored. It ain't fair. They intermingle. It ain't right.
Goddamn daisies. I don't want to watch them.
They intermingle, Jimmy. It ain't right. I saw yellow ones with red ones. It ain't right, Jimmy. Just ain't natural. Now, unemployment rate here is 5%, which is low in terms of just general unemployment, but high in terms of the rest of the country, where it's about a little under 4% right now. Median household income is normally about $57,000 a year. Here it's $41,700. So a little bit low here, which is a problem when we get into the housing. A little more like forestry and shit like that than normal in this area, as you would expect, because it's, in the forest.
Goddamn woods.
Yeah, a little less white collar stuff here than you would expect to, or a few more social services.
How many power plant jobs are there?
Probably a few. Gonna move up there.
Yeah.
Let's do the cost of living first.
I see Homer working there.
Oh, Homer! There's a nuclear plant.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is one up there. We'll find out. Now, Springfield, 100 is average for cost of living. Par here it is 106. So not that high. The high thing is housing, which is 128. Median home cost here is $260,200.
It's not bad.
It's not bad, but for the lower income and then a little higher housing, it's like
it's tough.
Yeah, under on income, a higher on housing is a tough stretch.
Keeping people house poor is a way to keep them in their goddamn job, though.
That's true. They're going to keep chopping trees down, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of the houses over half the houses are between 150 and 300,000. So that's where you're going to get the majority of them. And if we've convinced you, damn it, you want to go have a beer at Moe's after work, you're going to move to Springfield. We have for you the Springfield, Oregon Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here, I found, is about $1,010, which is actually well under the average for rental. So
average is $1,200.
Average is about $1,250 for a 2-bedroom. So that might be your way to go here, because the house is, I found, a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,071 square feet. So that's not very big. That's small. Well, that's our apartment we started recording in.
It's the apartment I was living in.
900 square feet, and it was
992.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not that much.
It's not
a ton of space. If you have a couple of kids, you'll end up murdering them in this house.
Oh, for sure.
$180,000 for this house too. So it's rough. It needs a little bit of an update. And I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,720 square foot house. Nice. Has plants outside. Nice curb appeal. $289,000 for that though. For a little more. And if you want to stretch out, you've done well.
Yeah.
You've sold so much weed,
I
guess, in the legal market there. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 4,397 square feet. So nice, spacious. It's on 8.5 acres.
Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah, lots of moist ground for you to walk on.
Yeah.
$899,000 for this.
It's a bit of money.
That's a bit of money. So, yeah, you're going to pay for, but I mean, it's not outrageous as far as some of the places we've talked about, which are just over the fucking moon.
Really?
With prices. Some of them are just like, how is that a thing? How is that possible?
You're going to fucking live that way.
Especially East Coast is just brutal. Things to do here, and I found the Mackenzie River Lavender Festival, which just sounds real boring.
Lavender Festival,
and I'll read right from the website here. As part of the Oregon Lavender Destination statewide tour, Mackenzie River Lavender is opening up their farm for a glorious summer weekend featuring the aromatic flower. Take a tour, take photographs, paint, shop for fragrant products, and listen to talks on lavender while enjoying the surrounding purple fields. We're gonna go into a fucking coma.
We're gonna smell it, we're gonna use it, and then we're gonna fucking talk about it.
Then there's more exclamation points after these now. Also, walk through the fields and cut your own lavender to take home.
Yeah.
Holy shit, now I'm sold. Fucking A, let's do this shit. You can specialty lavender products from oils to skincare essentials. Oh, for Christ's sake. All this shit. Food, music, and lavender refreshments.
They're the most accessible lotions on earth.
Lavender refreshments?
Everything's lavender and every store that shit exists already. Why
except for the drinks. I don't want lavender refreshment, lavender flavored drinks. Farm is not dog friendly.
Oh.
Well then.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. I'll take Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Benny Parmesan somewhere else then. We'll go somewhere else, like the Ukrainian Day Festival. Let's go there instead. Springfield's 80-member Ukrainian dance troupe will perform at their popular outdoor festival celebrating heritage. Dancers from ages 5 and up to young adults make up the troupe, which performs live and athletic dances with colorful festive costumes.
Right.
That sounds way more fucking entertaining. A tour of the church's beautiful icon screen starts between dance performances. At 11 a.m., dancers will perform along with coming of age wreathing ceremony. I don't know what the fuck that. No, it's wreathing.
Really? They're making wreaths?
Then they're going to perform again.
Yeah.
They're going to go out for a fucking encore. Ukrainian style dishes will be available for purchase, including a bunch of shit with Z's and K's and Y's and H's that I cannot fucking pronounce. I don't know, but they're going to have it, and it sounds way more fun, and on nowhere does it specifically say, fuck your dog.
Okay.
So I'm going there instead. No one said your dog sucks, by the way. Did I mention that your dog sucks?
Did it say Bidens are invited?
No, nope. It doesn't say anything about. I believe Rudy Giuliani's going to be the keynote speaker. Is all it says here under and that's not political. It's just a topical thing.
Fun.
It's just topical. Sorry. So, crime rate in this town, the thing that we're interested in, of course, Jimmy, the crime rate. Property crime here is almost double the national average.
Great.
So that's great. Terrific.
Sounds fun.
It's fucking Jimbo and Kearney. The sons of bitch, those little bastards. I knew it.
It's all the Ukrainians.
Oh, no, it's Jimbo and Kearney, and it's all these guys, man. You know how this goes. It's terrible. Good Lord. Nelson. Nelson's got to be responsible for at least part of this whole mess.
He's a goddamn bully.
I mean, it happens,
this
dude.
Fucking jean jacket.
He's just, see, the weirdest one is when he was like dating Lisa. That was weird. It's like, I don't like this at all. I was afraid for Lisa's well-being.
Was he cleaned up and nice?
She was cleaning him up and nice, but then he had to go back to being
a dick.
He ended up egging Skinner's house, which is the right decision, I believe.
Sounds right.
So, violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime is right at average. Okay. So they'll steal your shit more than they'll kill you, which sounds like more like Springfield. Not a lot of murders there. It doesn't sound like.
Bart's just mischievous. That's
he's mischievous. The kids. No one's murdering anyone. I mean, Ned's wife, Homer, I guess, sort of technically murdered her, but not really.
How so?
Well, not really. The T-shirt hit her and she flew off the edge of the stadium like Nordberg, except she actually died.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, her instead of OJ. So let's talk about a murder, shall we? Let's get out of Springfield for a minute. Actually, we're going right back to Springfield, but we're going to the edge of Springfield for this murder here. This is on the edge in the woods. Not this, this would be, past the nuclear plant.
It's hard to get a skateboard out there.
Yeah, Bart and Milhouse would build a fort maybe out here of some kind.
Hey
everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
But June 1st, 1988. So we're going to go back 31 years here. Seems like a really long time.
When the Simpsons were unrecognizable.
Unrecognizable.
You can't even tell that's
they were
really
all weird and pointy.
It's so bizarre.
It's no good.
Stretched.
Here. We're going back to Springfield, June 1st, 1988. Children, or they don't say who, could be Bart and Milhouse. We're not positive, but that's enough Simpsons references. They're playing in a wooded area here, like we talked about. It's in Springfield. And as they're playing, they uncover, there's a bunch of some brush that's kind of laid down, and it kind of moves around, so they kick it, and they find some boards under the brush. And they end up moving these boards. When you're a kid, you just look under.
Oh, God, it was so much fun.
You're exploring shit, and if you're
like a meth head, you take everything apart.
You'll take whatever. Yeah. What is this? I want this.
God,
I'll
Jesus.
take that.
What's under here?
I found a keychain in the woods, and I kept it for a year and a half for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah. It's got the name and number of some like HVAC company on it. It's one of those plastic tab keychains.
I had the Saguaro High School trophy for their football team.
Sweet.
For no reason.
I don't found it somewhere.
I didn't go there. I was 8.
Yeah. Well, and if you're over like 11, you're looking for porn out there when you're a kid. You're like, there might be fucking Playboys or penthouses or something, disgusting.
Almost guy pushed on.
That's what happened. So much porn in the woods.
So much.
So that's what ends up happening here. So the kids are looking for porn or trophies or whatever they're looking for. What they find is not exactly what they had in mind. They have a real Stand By Me moment here, and they end up finding a human body in there under the boards. A dead young lady, it appears to be. So they obviously run away screaming. Police are called in. Near this dead young lady, police find some things. Yeah. They find a turquoise ring. Okay. They find a lapel or a hat pin, some kind of, you know what I mean?
A push pin with the backing. Yeah.
Some kind of pin like that. And human hair that appears to match their victim here. Yeah. So they're like, shit, okay, this is a problem. Right away, we don't know who this person is. She's not known to anybody around that's, within identifying distance, I guess you could say. This is there's a grove of trees that the kids were playing in, and that's where this was kind of. So only kids.
Some of those filberts?
I think it was probably filberts. Yeah. I don't know if filberts grow on trees or bushes, or
they gotta be trees.
I don't know how high they grow off the ground, though. I don't know. Maybe they're huge.
Most nuts are in
trees.
It's
a towering filbert tree. Come shade yourself under the under this.
You've got pecan trees. They're fucking enormous.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
You've seen walnut trees? They're giant.
They're huge. Yeah, that's true. And you got, that's true. Everything with nuts is big, I guess. But
almond trees are gigantic.
Okay, so they're big.
They're probably fucking filbert trees.
Shade yourself.
Yes.
Under the canopy of the filbert. The mighty filbert. So
the nut that you have to use the most fucking work to. The only worse is that goddamn Brazilian nut. Is that what it's called? That fucking
I don't know.
Weird shaped one.
You're sounding like the guy in Best in Show right now.
I love nuts.
I said stop naming nuts in there. Sorry.
God, I love nuts.
It's I do
They're
too.
so good
They're
for
so
you.
wonderful.
Oh,
I
God.
like them too. I'm a big almond walnut kind of guy.
Almonds and walnuts, so easy to
Cashews,
get out.
forget about it.
Cashews, I've never seen those in a shell.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
No, they must be difficult. If they're never given to you in a shell, they must be horrible.
Oh, they're going to be nightmares.
Because if pistachios, just crack them open.
Yeah.
Can't give you a start there.
Oh, you could sit there with a handful of those.
Yeah.
You can't do that with a handful of walnuts.
No. So off the subject of nuts here. No,
They're probably filbert
I think we
trees.
both dove right into that head first, Jimmy. So the this whole area is in some woods, which is behind a water filtration plant. Okay. It's not a nuclear plant, but close enough. Okay. Off the Hayden Bridge Road, I guess it says here. What I found in a specific article. So now they are trying to figure out what's going on. They don't know who this person is, A, so they'd like to know, A, who their victim is, and B, who the fuck might have been around other than children who they probably think didn't do this. They're going to go, let's hang on to the kids for a minute, just for a minute, but I'm going to say it probably wasn't them. This looks pretty calculated. So the next day, they're still looking for what they could find. I found, Jesus Christ, there's a line from this book I found. It's a book called Crime Scene, and I have the author somewhere. I'll give him a plug here, but just because I'm using this line, if nothing else, he says, quote, the lawmen rounded up what few hobos they could find for questioning, but the cops quickly decided that none of those questioned knew anything about the homicide. Yeah. So there's no other better way to say that than they're rounding up any transient, anybody in the area they could find that might,
anybody without a permanent address.
Well, yeah. Well, the reason is about 600 yards away from the body, why they're looking for hobos, they found a makeshift campsite. Oh. So the type that, transient people use if they're living from woods and going here, and just not one that was made, not one that's made like a permanent one, just like it looked like someone
and
was
also
there
not like a temporary, just like a weekend thing for a family. This is obviously
like
somebody that rudimentary was camping.
Someone had all their stuff there. Yeah, they didn't just have some camping supplies.
We had an easy up and some Coleman shit.
Yeah, it wasn't that at all. Yeah, they had all their stuff and like a toothbrush laid on the ground and shit like that. Yeah, it was gross.
A couple of cans of Dinty-Moore.
Yeah, oh, so much Dinty-Moore in their bindles. That's what it is too. They're looking. Is there evidence of a bindle? I want bindle evidence.
Did you say there's Dinty-Moore? All right. I know
find
exactly what we're looking for.
First guy with a handkerchief on a stick. I think we have our killer, everybody. First guy we find. First bindle out there. So they follow the search of the search all this. They look for anything they could find. And they said there's nothing in the woods that points toward it. They have a lot of evidence, but nothing that points toward suspects. Just here's a bunch of stuff we have that shows that this person's dead and someone was over there, but we don't know who. So this obviously isn't.
Do we have evidence of murder?
There's I would say she's on. Yeah, we'll find out what happened to her, but it's definitely not a suicide.
Got it.
And by her disposal, it's even more obvious that there was something nefarious was going on and somebody wanted to hide what was happening here.
So there is a murder, there is a suicide, there is natural causes and an accident, correct? Those are the four?
Yeah.
Got it.
This is not this is definitely of the intentional homicidal type here by all of the wounds that we're going to find here.
Oh, Jesus.
It's a bunch of different things which is interesting. They do the autopsy and they reveal that it's actually strangulation is the cause of death. But they said she had been choked. At some point, they said a thin, solid item had been pressed against her throat with a lot of pressure. A thin, solid item. Remember that? And they obviously the medical examiner had no idea maybe what that was. Just a thin, solid item. And also she was struck several times in the head by a heavy object in the back of the head, and then just basic bruises and kind of looks like there was a struggle basically here. here. Now,
a good old fashioned beating is basically what it is,
and a choking was the final thing. With a thin, solid item, which is a weird thing to think about. What solid and thin and strangling worthy or
knife?
We'll talk about it. It's interesting here. Post-mortem, they did the lividity test to show how long it's where the blood settles to see how long they were there. They show that she had been killed where she was found, probably. More than likely she was killed and moved. If she was moved, it was very soon after she was dead and, within a minute or a couple minutes. And then she stayed there the rest of the time. And, the medical examiner does not believe that she was sexually assaulted at that point, but they said they were going to do lab tests to make sure that she doesn't have whatever fluids of any kind or whatever. But at this moment, it doesn't appear no outward appearances of sexual assault. So they finally figure out, takes them another day to figure this out. And that is because a couple of people from a nearby town start calling and calling the police, saying they haven't spoken to their daughter in a few days. And do you guys maybe know where my daughter is? And they're like, well, how old is she? 19. We're like, well, we got late teens, girl we just found. So maybe we can try to. Did she have any of this property? And what was she what was the last time you saw her?
Seen a turquoise ring?
I think they said what kind of jewelry was she wearing? I think they said a turquoise ring. That. No. Okay, we got to check.
She loves this lapel pin.
We got to check. She has this amazing hat pin. We have to check some dental records, and they figure out that it is 19-year-old Melissa Ann Meyer is the victim. So I mean, it was hard to identify based on all this, but like I said, finally the medical records confirm it. Positive identification is made, and now they have to figure out who the fuck she is, who she knew, and she's 19. So when you're 19, the problem is you know so many people.
It's ridiculous.
And like now, if I hang out with somebody who's not like in my circle of like you and like 3 other people that I know, really,
your wife and your 2 dogs,
my wife, my 2 dogs, my kids. And like 2 other people that I really hang out with. Outside of that, it's an aberrant thing for me to hang out with somebody else. So if like I hung out with somebody and then the next day I was missing, you'd be like, oh, well, that's a red flag.
Right.
When you're 19, you hang out with groups of people you don't even know.
Right.
You just meet people and you go hang out with them, and then you go over here and then you hang out with your other friends. And to trace a 19-year-old's steps,
exhausting.
It would be exhausting of what they do.
Lord.
I mean, and this is before social media and any of that, obviously. But this is like just to trace back then a person's physical steps, because you just go from thing to thing. Very, very difficult to do. So they're trying to figure out if they figure out who she is, they can figure out what's going on. They learned that she was this Melissa. She's adopted. She was adopted as a child, and had recently moved to Eugene, Oregon, from Seattle. Her hometown is Seattle, and she just moved to Eugene. She's unemployed at the time, they figure out. They couldn't find out any evidence of her attending college or anything like that at this moment. She just kind of showed up in town.
She's 19.
That's the thing. She's 19. She might have heard from a friend of hers that Eugene is cool, and she moved there. Who the hell knows? We have no goddamn idea. All they know is her last known address that she had out for anything was in Eugene. It was on West 8th Avenue in Eugene, and she was last seen on May 30th in the downtown area. They figure out from her parents and through some records that she had enrolled in Seattle in a drug treatment program. In the last year or so. So that leads them to some acquaintances of hers that way. And they interview some of her acquaintances, and they figure out that she was, you could find her a lot at the mall in Eugene downtown.
Of course.
The downtown Eugene mall. And because it's 1988, mind you, that this is not 1988. Even at 19, if she just the kids just go to the mall.
That's so weird.
That's where other teenagers are. It's just weird. That was their social place. Because it was a social place because it was like a nightclub for the daytime.
Right.
That's what it was. You could go to a mall at 2:00 on a Saturday afternoon, and that was like going to the club.
Mind it because maybe you'll wander into a store and buy something.
That's what I mean. They just have some security guards that would yell at you for every fucking thing you did.
Don't steal anything. Don't just stand around.
Other than that, kids would piss a lot of money away.
Yeah.
Kids piss money away, especially like the food court. Jesus, the food court would have failed without the kids pissing money away on food court food and shit like that. So they figure out that she used to hang out at the mall. Now, apparently, and by the way, I have to quote this book again here. I got to give you this author's name, but Gary C. King is the author's name. It's Crime Scene. I can't keep quoting it and, making fun of the quotes a little bit too. He has good information. That's the thing, which is some of the stuff is very, very just weird the way he phrases it. Quote, the mall was known to be frequented by prostitutes and was a favorite hangout for drug addicts and pushers. So
they all aren't they all?
I suppose so. What is this? Is this like a drugstore cowboy level? Is this like a?
Is this a lot? Is this like a truck stop?
Truck
stop
mall. It's truck stop mall. Come on down to truck stop mall.
This mall's sponsored by Pilot.
This is all sorts of prostitutes and drug addicts in the mall.
Come on down over to Love's Mall.
That's so weird. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the damn mall, but yeah.
Every food court is a Subway. It's all it is just Subways.
Subways.
7 of them.
And a Popeyes. As Jimmie knows from this weekend. You shouldn't eat gas station Popeyes.
Do not buy chicken at a gas station.
Well,
ever.
Let's okay. You can buy chicken at a gas station. Then when you decide after you've eaten a couple pieces that it's gross and then you put it in the back seat, 3 hours later when you decide to throw it out,
don't push another one down your throat.
Don't eat a piece of chicken on the way to the garbage can. You were like, oh man, this is terrible. And you opened it and you're like, this was so gross. And then you start eating it while you walked the rest of it in a box to the garbage can. I'm like, why are you eating that piece? Why?
These biscuits are hockey pucks. But look, the chicken's still there.
It's still fine, and you ate it, and then you were sick. I'm not surprised by that. I got to be honest with you. That's the least surprising case of food poisoning ever. Ever. You might as well have just drank a bottle that said poison on it with a skull and crossbones.
I got news for you. It was never good in the first place.
No, that's the thing. You just
all 3 of them were poison.
You just let the bacteria just fester for 3 hours, and you're like, you know what? Now that it's fuck that bacteria. I might have been able to fight off the 3 hour ago bacteria, but I want a challenge. My immune system needs a challenge. It's been
maybe the bacteria has died in this rental car over the past couple hours.
My immune system.
Rural Pennsylvania.
That could have. Yeah. Rural Pennsylvania will do it. Jesus Christ, with no goddamn exits. That place is rough. Rural Pennsylvania is an odd place.
It really is. It will kill your dignity and your will to live, but it will breed bacteria in chicken.
Lots of it. So much bacteria in chicken. But what it doesn't breed is exits to turn around on the freeway, because that is not there. Trust me, we looked for them all over the place. Not available.
22 miles.
Not fucking available. So this place, she likes to go to the prostitute drug addict mall.
Okay.
And pusher.
Yeah.
Drug addict / pusher prostitute mall. A favorite hangout for
the pusher man's there.
I'm going to go stand outside the Chess King and see if I can pull some tricks. What the fuck kind of... What prostitutes hang out at the mall?
Turning tricks at Hot Topic?
There was no Hot Topic back then. Turning tricks at merry-go-round back then. What are you talking about? I'm trying to think of 80s stores.
I'm sure the Wet Seal was around.
Probably. Who knows?
Spencer's was for sure there, right?
Spencer's had to be there, yeah.
Sure,
that's where you're going to...
When a mall was created, that's when the first Spencer's was there.
The
very first mall had one. It had to.
I feel like they built the mall to house the Spencers. To house the Spencers. Like, there's a store they need. They won't do a standalone.
Strange, yeah.
They'll only do it if they're attached to 80 other stores. It's really weird, and it has to be air conditioned. There has to be benches for the guys to sit on. It's really super.
There has to be some shitty diamonds to be bought.
All right, we'll put a bunch of women's clothing stores in it. It'll be perfect. All right, good. We'll have one store that
Sears and a Bloomingdale on opposite sides,
and we'll have one store that just sells lotion, and that'll be packed. And then we'll have another store that has fucking pianos for some reason, even though no one will ever be looking for a piano when they come here.
No one's ever bought one.
No one will ever buy one, and a mattress store, because you're not looking for that either when you come.
And there's for sure going to be one of those stores where you look at the picture for a long time, and then you see the picture, nobody's ever bought one of those pictures.
Oh, you know,
those have never been in somebody's house.
No, never. Oh, you know what else we could do? In the middle, where everybody's walking between the stores, we can put little stores in there. That way, the people at those little stores could fucking clothesline you as you go by and force you to buy cell phone cases. What's a cell phone case? You'll see.
Don't worry.
You'll see. Trust me. Trust me, it's going to work.
It will be as useless as every other fucking center store.
And silver-plated jewelry. Silver-plated jewelry. Where else are they going to sell silver-plated jewelry? God damn it. It's going to turn their wrist green. They need it. So, she goes there. They talk about that. They're like, okay, maybe she's at the mall. Maybe she went to the mall. Maybe we can figure out from around there if we can go scope it out and see if there's people looking for teenage girls to kill at the mall.
Yeah.
I mean, who the hell knows? But I mean, at the mall, it could be anybody.
Who knows?
She's going to talk to one of a million
so
other.
many push men.
And teenagers, again, that's, I mean, if she was 35, you'd go, did she talk to anybody? She wouldn't have left with that person. Teenager, you go, would she talk to anybody? Yeah, she talked to 100 people. Did she leave with them? Of course she'd leave with those people. Yeah, that's what teenagers do. If you're a teenager, you hang out and you meet, at least when I was a teenager, you hung out and you met somebody, you talked for 15 minutes, and if one of you had weed and be like, oh, I'm going to go smoke a joint over in the woods or something, you'd be like, fucking cool, and everybody would go. You just met this person and you're going to walk into the woods with them to do drugs. Literally.
So let's stand under a filbert.
Yeah, it's cool. We're all teenagers. Right. It's fine. That's how you think. So that's their thought right away is if they met him if her killer was from the mall, it's probably a young person. It's probably not an older person because nobody would have looked twice at that. It would have been very normal. So they look. She had no arrest record or no known involvement in any criminal activity other than the drug rehab enrollment. That wasn't like court. Didn't seem to be court mandated or anything like that. Just seemed to be something she did. She went to the mall all the time, so they didn't know why. They were trying to figure that out. Did she just like to hang out there? Was she a window shopper? I mean, who the hell knows? So the problem is at this point, the second this gets out, 19-year-old woman found in the woods, everybody is talking about, is it the Green River Killer coming back again? Because the Green River Killer at this point had not been caught yet.
Oh, no.
This is still, the Green River Killer was still the boogeyman of the Northwest where, if they found a woman that was under the age of 60 dead on the side of anything.
In the woods, and just
Green River Killer.
Yeah.
Maybe the Green River Killer.
They just found one. They're like, this is probably him.
Yeah. So they wondered that. Everybody thought of that.
Husband's like, no, I butchered my wife last night. Well, we have to make sure that we have to eliminate the Green River.
That's the thing. Well, listen, I know you found the knife.
I don't believe your story at all, sir.
All right, we found her blood on his shoes. Right. That's a thing. But I think this Green River Killer could be crafty. He's crafty. I'm telling you. I think he... I see
him throwing blood all over the place.
Hear me out now. I think he snuck in. Yeah. He wore the husband's shoes.
Right.
And then snuck back in, put the shoes down. Nice. And then you say, who's the killer? Well, he's got his blood on his shoe. Who's the killer now? And then obviously he's the killer and Green River Killer. He's just walking away, just laughing and skipping. He's stopping at Subway on the way home, eating a turkey sandwich with blood all over his hands. He's like, it's all right. I just did something else. And they're like, that's fine because there ain't no blood on your shoes. Now, what's going to happen then? See, that's the Green River Killer every time.
Right.
Now, damn it. How many hundreds has he killed? How many are we going to let him get away with? Let me tell you. The problem is also that she is not a prostitute. That's not her.
She's 19.
She's a 19-year-old girl, but if she just moved here, they're like, they hate to say it, but they're like, did she maybe she could have drifted into drugs very quickly, and she could have that could have led to this, which led to this, which led to that. They don't know. But they obviously, they're going to look in other avenues first before they decide she must have been a prostitute killed by the Green River Killer.
I can see
yeah, but she's found in an area that was not too close, but in a proximity that could be considered near other victims, like in a certain way here. One of the police captains said, quote, "We don't have any evidence that leads us to believe she was a prostitute or engaged in anything of that nature." Obviously, there's a lot of things we don't know about her right now. And another one, a few days later, they kind of got away from the Green River thing, and we'll talk about why. The Dick Larson, who is the spokesman for the Green River Task Force, he said, quote, "There are young women found dead all over this country, and we aren't naive enough to believe that the Green River Killer is the only person who murders young females and leaves them outside. There's nothing at this point to link the murder or murders in Oregon with our investigation. There would be absolutely no reason for us to send anyone down there to cut past all the blue smoke and mirrors. We're just not interested unless something else turns up." So that's not the Green River Killer, everybody. That's there. 3 days after she is found, on Friday, June 3rd, a relative of a 17-year-old girl named Candace Michelle Roy contacts Eugene police and reports her missing, and normally there's a wait on missing persons, but because of a 19-year-old being found dead 2 days before, they're a little touchy about it, and they go, let's go look for her now. Okay. Let's just go ahead and look for her now. So they do that. They start looking around for her. They learn that she lives near Santa Clara, which is a neighborhood in kind of north side of Eugene. Up there. It's a woody area, a lot of woods.
Got it.
Most of this fucking place outside of the downtown blocks, it's a lot of woods is what I'm getting at here. This is a no arrest record, no criminal activity, same type of thing, trying to figure it out. They do end up finding her on Monday. They find her partially clad, some clothes missing under some trees about 4 blocks from her house. It was a wooded area about 5 miles from where Melissa Ann Myers was found. So this is looking bad now. They're finding that they and a relative positively ID'd her, and so they're worried about that. So they're looking into this. They're taking them as separate cases right now, but they're also concerned that they might not be, obviously, if they're within a few miles of each other here. Now back to Melissa Ann Myers, the crime scene there. They found in the campsite that they found, the transient campsite, they found cooking pots, utensils, multicolored candles arranged in a circle, and a machete. A machete. Now, machete could be construed. I'm just, I've seen machetes, and they look like they look like thin, solid objects to me. That's a very thin and solid object.
I can see it from movies.
Yeah. Thin and solid.
It's what goddamn Jason carries.
It would be how I would describe it. It's a thin, solid thing. Yeah. Very sharp.
It's a goddamn sword.
Pretty much here. So they do some investigating, and they find some young ladies come forward here. These young ladies come forward, and they speak to detectives. And one is a woman named Robin Newman. She works with 2 guys that she knows here, and another one also said that she knows 2 guys that met Melissa Ann Meyer at the mall downtown where she hangs out, and she said that she knows for a fact that Meyer accompanied these 2 guys to the woods where these 2 guys were hanging out.
Yeah.
So they know that for a fact. So obviously the police are very curious to speak to these 2 young men who last seen taking this young lady into the woods from the mall, which is odd. So they find this Robin Newman who worked with these guys, and these guys are a couple of young men named John Ray Jones, who's 17 years old, and Jason Wayne Rose.
Yeah.
This is confusing. John Ray Jones, Jason Wayne Rose, who's 19 years old. They find them. They're looking into them. Jones, they find his last address was a trailer in Eugene.
Yeah.
There. He graduated from the Opportunity Center Alternative School earlier this year.
Yeah.
From what they can understand, this seems to be a school for fuck-ups more than it's for, like,
it's
academic.
Yeah.
It's not for, like, we need a little academic help.
School.
It's basically you keep getting arrested at school for having fucking weed in your locker, so you can't come here anymore.
Right.
That's what it is. So they send them there. We had what was the school? What was your school? What was the alternative school that kids got kicked out into?
Yeah,
ours was Beta. I remember it was called Beta. And, he's going to Beta now. You're like, oh Christ, what did he do? Stab a teacher? You had to like stab a teacher in the face to get put there.
God damn it, I forget the name of it. But
Every
know
district
exactly
has
where
one.
it is.
Yeah, everyone has that school. Where they're like, I'm studying transmissions. And you're like, you're in 10th grade. What are you talking about?
It's called like opportunities or some shit like that.
There's always some shit like that. So, he was, and then they said, he was scheduled to graduate. He'd been there for a couple years. And he also knew Jason Wayne Rose, who was there. Rose had a lot of problems. Now, the other guy here, John Ray Jones, John Jones doesn't have a lot of problems. He's just kind of he's more of a follower, he's known as, than anything else, whereas Rose has more problems and has had some legal issues. He was, in the past 10 months before this, Jason Rose was released 3 times from the Lane County Jail. under what they called the matrix system, which is designed to alleviate overcrowding and all that sort of thing. He was rearrested at least twice after showing up for court appearances, but was matrixed, as they called it, out of the jail each time because
that's ridiculous. They give him like a point
threat.
Value for like and danger value.
Yeah, if he's not like a violent criminal, they're like, well, we don't have room for him.
Right.
He's least likely to be dangerous, I guess, to other people.
The guy's got weed, get him out of here.
Yeah, the last time he was released was April 2nd, 1988, which was 2 months before this. Yeah. Pretty much exactly. He's got a lot of interesting accusations on him. He has, there's a case pending on Rose at this point for 3 counts of first-degree forgery, menacing with a rifle, and pointing a firearm at someone.
Yeah, that's probably the same one.
It's all in one thing. So he's got charges for all this shit pending at this moment. Okay. So they're like, well, we'd like to talk to him anyway, and then his buddy too, if they were seen with Melissa Ann Meyer. So I guess the forgery was a separate thing from the menacing and pointing. Okay. Those were separate. So he didn't point a rifle at someone and then forge their name in the checkbook or anything shit like that. So
you hold still while I write this.
You put that it's moving. You hold the check down because it moves when I'm trying to forge the damn. Just this goddamn pen don't work now. Give me a pen too. Oh shit! Now it's burglary and forgery. Damn it. No, that was a separate thing. The firearms charges come from June 1987, which him and 3 friends threatened a Springfield man with a rifle, a billy club, and nunchucks.
Jesus.
In an attempt to steal his car. They tried.
It's menacing as fuck.
I wonder if it was a progression of weaponry or if they just which one are you afraid of? If they were like, that's what I mean, nunchucks, and they were like, I ain't afraid of no nunchucks. Or like, how about a billy club? He's like, well, I'll kick your little ass. And he's like, rifle? And he's like, all right, here's the keys. I don't know if maybe one of those happened.
It's all yours.
Or if they popped out like a ninja squad, one with a rifle, one swinging nunchucks, and one holding a billy club over his head in an attempt to shock and awe the man into giving up the car keys. Give me that 87 Grand Am, goddammit.
They're like Ninja Turtles.
They're like Ninja Turtles.
Each one's got its own specific
little weapon. That's what I mean. Maybe that's what they were trying to do. Make their own little band of vigilante criminals where they all had their own weapon and their own move. They popped out one at a time and did like some special karate move. Yeah, that's what I mean. One did like
80s was full of that shit.
Karate stance. The other had like
different specific color.
Ralph Macchio crane.
The billy club he pulls out of his ass.
It's that's why he has a billy club. It's like, I get the billy club, everybody. Listen.
That's from me.
I don't care what anybody else wants. I get I guess both nunchucks, either way. But I'm getting something like that. I don't want the rifle. Yeah. I'm not interested. So he said, Rose, at the time, Jason Rose, when he was arrested for this, he told the cops that he had a severe drug dependency problem, was his excuse for this. I just did so much drugs. So in November 1987, Jason Rose's mother got a restraining order against him after he became, and this is an 18-year-old kid she's got a restraining order against, after he became violent and threatened to kill her. Which is a problem. Yeah. That's an issue. You can't threaten to kill your mom. Yeah, you can't threaten to kill your mom and be violent with mom, and then now you don't even have mom bailing you out. Right. Now you got problems.
He's already kind of a dick.
That's what I mean. But before that, he probably had mom on his side at least, too. And now it's like, well, I'm done with him, too. Right. They said that according to a petition for the restraining order, this is what the mother wrote, that Rose was, quote, progressively becoming more uncontrollable. So he's got problems here. They said that they also, in the reports, noted that Rose was interested in occult practices also. That's the thing that they're going to try to push hard on this, too, and we'll talk about that. And now they said, man, so when that came up, reporters were asking the police, is it a satanic killing? Did this kid that you're talking to do it? And the one of the policemen said, quote, I'm not really in a position to discuss motives. We're just too early in the investigation to talk about motives right now. They're getting into it pretty damn quick, though. The Robin Newman woman that they talked to, she says that Jason Rose told her that he knew something about that dead girl in the woods' death, basically. And not only do we know something about it, me and John Jones, the problem is, okay, let me level with you. Yeah. I told you I know something about it, but I actually know more than I let on about it. You see, the problem is we had to kill her. We had to kill her. Both of us. That was the thing. We didn't have a choice. We had to get money. Yeah. You see, She was a high dollar target.
Yeah.
That's what she said. She said, Rose told this Robin Newman that Melissa, quote, had a price on her head.
Oh.
19-year-old girls who moved to Eugene, Oregon, obviously they're, what are they? She's had to be at least $5-6 million in debt to the Colombian cartel.
Huge targets.
Yeah. Like I said, the Colombians, I mean, they're known for their huge drug, the mafia, who knows what. She's a big gambler, I'm sure. She's on football every weekend.
6 of them.
That's the thing. Yeah. So obviously she's going to get whacked on the street. Yeah. It's going to happen. So she said it was a price on her head. So, what choice did they have?
This story's weird.
It gets weirder.
Yeah.
They needed money, obviously. And he said that, this was the easiest way to get money because they knew her. They met her at the mall and shit like that. So he told her that it's, quote, easy to kill a friend, especially if you know them and they don't know what's going on because you can get close to a friend, which is basically exactly what Henry Hill said in Goodfellas. Right. Your murderers come with smiles. So your friends. He's got the same attitude, which is weird for an 18-year-old kid.
Scary for an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah. Other than, an experienced mafioso, which you would expect that from a 60-year-old Italian man who's gone through a lot of
cold-hearted fuck,
a lot of criminal activity and murder to keep himself out of prison. But a child, not so much, or a young man, not so much here. So it's easy to kill her. So he was like, we had to. First of all, the money, and if it's going to be easy money, Jesus, she trusts us, for Christ's sake. She won't even run away if we come near her. It's crazy. She'll let us do that. So now, this woman also, Robin Newman, she also says that on numerous occasions she saw Jason Rose and John Jones with rune stones.
What are those?
Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. And that Rose and Jones would throw the rune stones on the ground and then with the aid of a book interpret their meaning. It's just as stupid as it sounds.
Okay. I've heard of that before.
Yeah, it's any type of stone or any type of little thing.
It's called fucking
inscripted
gypsy shit.
That's a totally separate culture than that. But I get what you're saying. You're lumping it under the umbrella of it's exactly. That's kind of the kind of shit it is. And it goes across a lot of different belief systems of different things. We're not going to get into which ones because we'll have people tweeting us going, actually, I'm a Wiccan, and we know not that Wiccans do that, but I mean, whoever the fuck group we say, they'll be like, actually, the thing and blah blah blah. I get it. We don't know shit about it.
Black magic, weird shit.
I guess the tradition, from what I got here, this is straight off of Wikipedia because I don't know shit about it, and I was like, we're going to get to the most basic side of this here. Began in the 4th century and was big until about the 12th century, but it's kind of a Viking age type of thing here. A lot of the rune stones were located in Scandinavia, but there's also other shit, and it kind of spread from there. The rune stones are often memorials to dead people. They're usually brightly colored and shit like that because they would make like almost like gravestones with big ones and shit like that, and then they would use rune stones and throw them on the ground and then decipher the meaning. These are smaller stones, obviously, that come from that. That's the
you don't have like 12 people following around with headstones, just kind of
there's giant ones, trucks behind you.
Toss that big one.
So these are, you throw them on the ground, and then this somehow divines what you're supposed to do based on an interpretation through a book of whatever. I don't understand. So anybody, obviously this is
people that have trouble making decisions.
This is obviously less than scientific. Well, it's this, and then they shake a magic 8-ball and they try to decide.
Throw some chicken bones.
Well, and then they let a coin flip be the tiebreaker. That's how they work it. So I feel like it doesn't matter. So the court, this is how the court documents says this. This is how they define rune stones. We understand rune stones to be small stones marked with runes. Characters, R-U-N-E, by the way. Characters of early alphabets used by Germanic tribes and people found in the Scandinavian North and remote parts of Sweden. Although their primary purpose was to give spoken language a fixed form, throughout their history, runes have commonly been considered associated with magic. So that's the type of thing that they're saying is this must be a satanic thing. It's, maybe it's some black magic shit. They throw stones on the ground and said they're going to kill a woman for money. Okay, now we're talking. Okay, so another woman here, Janice Johnson, also saw Rose using rune stones. So this is, he's ruining it constantly.
This guy's a rune pro.
He's tossing some runes on the floor all over the place. He's for his dead homies. He don't give a fuck. He's just boom, runes on the ground. So he told her that he used the stones to find out, quote, whom he would kill next, and that sometimes he had to, quote, hurt good people or kill them because the stones told him so.
Right.
So, you know, what are you going to do? When stones tell you to do something, I mean, you don't fucking not do it. You fucking do it, dude. Yeah. Obviously.
Get in.
That's what I do. I mean, I have several things that I do. I carry around Cheez-Its.
Yeah.
And I throw them on the ground, and if they land more salty sides up than non-salty sides up, then I have to hurt or kill good people.
I'm very
eat
similar
all those Cheez-Its.
With Nilla wafers.
It's a true thing. Yeah, you should try it with Nilla wafers.
The round piece, when that's on the ground, that's sinister shit.
That's what I'm saying, dude. They don't know shit about this, man. Your rune when
it's
wafers.
dome side up, that's happy time.
Your Nilla runes.
Yeah,
those are good stuff. I like your Nilla runes. Those are hot shit. So,
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, it's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure, yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here, based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
I'm telling you, bro, I bust out another butter now. So Janice Jones saw him doing this, like we said, and there's another woman here, Michelle Slagle, who was Jones's friend, John Ray Jones, the other boy here, the 17-year-old. Yep. This was his friend. She said that Rose and Jones talked to her after Melissa's body was found about Melissa, and Jones told Michelle Slagle that he and Rose had killed her. Okay. She said that they told her that they, quote, beat the shit out of her. Yeah. They choked her, kicked her ribs in, and that he, quote, used a machete to choke her.
Oh.
So, yeah.
That's a knife.
That's a
thin solid knife.
Thin, solid thing here.
Object, yes.
Object. Slagle also, this is another thing, because Slagle at this time, I think, was going out with John Jones.
Yeah.
They were like, had some, precarious boyfriend-girlfriend shit going on. She says that she identifies a ring that that Rose gave her and another ring and necklace that she received from Jones. So Rose gave her a ring and Jones gave her a necklace and a ring. Uh-huh. And those ended up both being the victims' belongings.
Oh, that's fucked up.
So they took some of the jewelry. They left some of the jewelry there, and they gave some of the jewelry to their girlfriends.
The pretty stuff.
Rose gave his girlfriend another one of the rings. Mm-hmm. So, and then also Rose wore one of the necklaces as well.
Gross.
So they left some behind, whatever they didn't want. They took some, gave it to their girlfriends, and then he wore something himself. It was just like, horrible. Like he just stopped at a thrift store and just picked up a bunch of stuff. Yeah, you know how it is. That's how it is. Fat herringbone, let him slide. No days, Jimmy.
Yeah, man.
That's a Mob Deep lyric for any people out there. June 10th.
Vicky threw it and give me the loot, too.
Yeah, but
herringbone and bamboo.
This is, I think, temperatures rising is what I was
probably. I was
referring to. No, it wasn't temperatures rising. It was. Never mind. We're going to get into it. So, June 10th here. Yeah. June 10th, the cops obviously are focusing a little bit of their attention on Jones and Rose at this point, and they find out that they had gone to Arizona.
What?
They have taken. Why are half the people that run away? They're always found here. Why do they come here?
Because Mexico's close.
Maybe that's why.
They're on their way.
You would think that's what it is, but that's actually not what it is. This is way stupider than that. Trying to get away to Mexico after you've murdered a young lady and then told people about it and given them jewelry and shit, that would be, honestly, probably the smarter thing. Yeah. I would say, well, at least there's a B to their fucking A. Right. ABQ cookies, that's what we have here.
They're hanging with family and Havasu.
It's another ABQ cookie situation where it makes no sense. There's no A to B to C. It's just like, we'll do this, we'll do that. Hey, grandma and grandpa are going on vacation to Arizona. Let's go with them.
Is that what happened?
That's literally what happened.
They went on vacation with their grandparents.
Let's talk about this.
Grandma and grandpa oftentimes bring Nillas, so let's go with them.
We got to do it. They locate them in Show Low, which is up north in Arizona. Yeah, up in the White Mountains. They find them there on June 13th. Mm-hmm. There, they find them at a I believe, what kind of motel? A Best Western.
Yeah,
Best Western.
Piece of shit.
They find them at in Show Low. Yep. They arrest them here. They knock on the door, and they're with Jones's grandparents vacationing. They were on their way to visit Jones's stepfather, and their car broke down over the weekend.
In Show Low.
And so they had to stay in Show Low. So they figured that out. They traced.
The place sucks.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
They trace them down through there. They get a bunch of cops to go to the Best Western. Uh-huh. They say, they quote, this is the police officer, quote, "We went up to the room and knocked, and one of them came to the door. We introduced ourselves and placed them under immediate arrest." Yeah. That was it. No incidents. They were like, "Hi, we're the police. Yeah. You guys are fucking idiots who murdered people and left a bunch of evidence leading basically a trail of breadcrumbs or Nilla wafers or whatever the hell rune stones you're flipping
on your necklace
all the way to Show Low, dummy. Get in the car, stupid." And they're okay. So they did that. Also, Jones's grandparents were in the motel room. "Hi there, young man." "Oh, you're what now?"
It's got to be awkward.
Wow, is that awkward?
You arrest them for what?
Nice young boys coming on a vacation with their Nope. They are murderers. They found no weapons during the arrest, but other evidence like a herringbone, not a real herringbone,
Probably
but a necklace and, shit, the evidence of her stuff. They said, so they're looking into it. The investigator said, quote, the two suspects in this case are pretty much inseparable. We're not exactly sure what their relationship was to Melissa. They may have known each other from their associations on the mall. Yeah. So they're hanging out at the mall, apparently. It's a
very weird way to say associations on the mall.
That's bizarre. Well, that's the weirdest way to say it. They might have known him from the fucking mall.
Right.
They both stopped at the Sbarro's for a shitty slice of pizza at the same time. I don't know. Maybe they were playing Rampage next to each other. I have no idea. Afterburner, there's a line. You know what I mean?
Right.
You socialize with people.
Sometimes that double dragon will get you a nice lady.
You know how it goes. Yeah, that's how it works. Jesus Christ. So the assistant district attorney said that they do learn that at this point, that through some investigation, that Meyer and Candace Michelle Roy, the other victim they found, knew some of the same people. There's had some overlapping circles here too, which they're like, that's interesting. They do say, quote, we don't have any direct evidence linking these cases. There are certain common factors that existed. That's it. So, of course, they advise Rose of his Miranda rights, which he says, I absolutely understand, and of course I'll talk.
Yeah.
Of course I'll waive them, though.
Let's have a chat.
Let's talk. You know what? I need to explain my way out of this, which...
I can clear this up, you guys.
Guys.
If I just talk.
Huge misunderstanding.
Hear me out.
Huge misunderstanding. Oh, my God. You know how you look for shit in the woods? Necklace. Find it in the woods somewhere.
Sometimes.
So it happens. It's totally not me. Guys, chill.
Yeah.
No, he said, I'll do that. He says, I will absolutely talk to you about Melissa's death. He tells the police, quote, they go, so, what's going on here? What happened? Did you know Melissa? Blah, blah, blah. And he took some time and he said, quote, all right, guys, I got to let you in on something. No. This is my favorite when they have a story. I love this.
Buckle up.
He said, now, guys, he said, the rune said that if we didn't kill Melissa, we would die.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Can I go back to Arizona?
The grandparents are going to the Grand Canyon tomorrow. I'd really like to hit that. I've never seen it. I'd really like to hit that up. So, can I join them? The car's probably still broken down. I can still make it.
Right.
So he also gives several versions of the cause of the death. First, he says, first he goes, look, guys, I knew her. Yeah, I met her at the mall and all that shit, but I don't know. I didn't even know she died. Other than the newspaper, I don't know anything. I heard about it, but I don't know how she died. Then he said, well, you know what happened? I saw Melissa, actually. Matter of fact, I think it was the day she died, I'm pretty sure, or the day she went missing. I saw her, but I don't know. I just saw her walking by.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how she died, obviously. Then he said, well, as a matter of fact, hold on. All right, guys, listen. Okay, I've said some things that I said I knew her, and I said some things that aren't true.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna level with you now. There's a tree branch.
Yeah.
And we were in the woods and we were just hanging out, and it was super out of nowhere. This branch just fell and it hit her on the head and she died.
Oh.
I mean, it just fell right out of the tree and she was dead.
It's a great story.
So we got super scared and we just like pushed her and then covered her up with some bushes. So you know how that is, right? So can I get back with John's grandparents now? They were like, I don't think so. Next.
Yeah.
If they just kept saying, I don't believe you,
story?
I feel like he could have gone all night. He would have been like, eventually it would have been like, okay, the starting offensive line for the Pittsburgh Steelers is there. Okay. Now, it sounds weird. I understand. I knew it was them because they had their uniforms on.
Right.
I understand. Right. Weird. Right. Okay. But hear me out.
We don't believe you. Okay. So it wasn't the Steelers.
Wasn't the Steelers.
You know how we were.
Okay. So you've seen cartoons, right? I didn't think Bugs Bunny was real. He is, apparently. Lives in the woods. Total dick, okay? Let me tell you what happened.
Really stretched out yellow guys came out of the woods.
Super strange, yeah. Do you know a Jimbo or a Kearney by any chance? Is there a Nelson Muntz on your radar at all? Because I think you should talk to those young men. Very much up to something at all times. Now, next one he said, okay, guys, fine. Nobody fucking believes me. Anything I say, okay, fine. Here's what I did. I was messing around in the woods because, as we all do. I had a wooden spear.
Oh.
All right. I'm carrying around a wooden spear. like you do in the woods. And I'm fucking around, and what happened is the spear stuck in a tree branch. At that point, when I was messing around, I was poking things, and it stuck in a tree branch, and then the tree branch broke, and that fell on her and killed her, and then we got scared and we buried her.
Okay.
So it was a tree branch that killed her, but it was an accident that I speared it off a tree like a salmon out of the river, and then it fell upon her, and clearly, I mean, I couldn't just call the cops or an ambulance or anything. She needed to be pushed into a hole and covered with a board and some brushes.
We don't believe you.
Oh, shit.
Next story.
Okay. All right. Listen. Okay. Guys.
Yeah.
All right. You listening to this one?
Yeah.
Okay. It's at that point that they go, hey, Chief, your partner, John Jones, he just confessed to the murder.
Oh, shit.
So, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like on The Wire when they have the two kids in there. That's actually the copy machine trick.
Oh.
Season 5 of The Wire.
They did that in the show?
In The Wire in season 5. Yeah, they get these two guys separate, and they play this trick, and they're like, man, he goes, why don't you just tell us the truth? The guy sitting there in the interrogation room is like, I don't know why you just don't tell us the truth, man. Yeah. He goes, we know everything. We know you shot this guy down on this street. We know what happened. He goes, man, your man's in the other room right now. He goes, he's talking. He's singing your name. He's saying all this shit. He said so much goddamn shit, man. He was so fucking helpful. We even went to McDonald's for him. He goes, what? Double quarter pounder, large fry, Dr. Pepper. And the dude's like starting to look like, what the fuck? And he goes, that's how your man rolls, right? And that's what he gets, right? And the guy's like, you could see, he's like, that's his fucking order. I've picked that shit up for him before. You could see him pissed off. And just at that point, that in the hallway, the one detective's like, okay, now. And they send the other kid past the interrogation room eating French fries. And he's just walking by eating French fries, and you hear the kid sitting down. He's like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? And then they close the door, and he's like, oh, man, Jesus Christ.
But he didn't say shit.
And, the kid didn't say nothing. Then they cut to the kid eating French fries. He's like, I appreciate the McDonald's, but I still ain't telling y'all motherfuckers nothing. Then he's just eating the McDonald's. But this kid in here is like, oh, shit. And then they hook him up to put him on the copy machine. And the
brilliant
truth, lie thing. Is this your name? Do you live here? Did you kill Pookie down on 44th? Blah, 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 blah.
Lie.
No. You lying motherfucker. And he's like, oh, man, I should have did that shit myself. I should have never brought that lying motherfucker with me, blah, blah, blah. That was the end of it. So,
Genius.
Genius. So here, though, this idiot actually did confess to murder in the other room. He's 17 years old, so and probably not the brightest bulb going. And he also implicates Jason Rose as well. And they said that Jones said that he killed the victim, or that Jones killed the victim. Or I'm sorry, Rose says that it's Jones that killed him. Oh. Okay. You got me.
Yeah.
I was trying to protect him with the tree branch story.
Right.
Obviously, that was silly, but it's my friend. You got to protect your friends. The 19-year-old's like, look, I'm just an he went crazy. Right. He just killed her.
The 17-year-old went nuts.
He went nuts, and so I'm the an accessory. I'm just an accessory. He said, look, I didn't want to kill the victim. Here, in this case, I didn't want to kill Melissa, but here's what I did. I put her into a chokehold, which he called a sleeper hold type maneuver, like wrestling, is how he put it. So that tells you his maturity level. He says, until she became unconscious, and then after that, he laid her on the ground. He said, then at that point, John Jones came in and, quote, whacked her on the back of the neck twice with a machete.
Oh, my God.
Which is brutal. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
He just hacked at her?
Hacked at her. Had to hack at her with the machete.
She's unconscious.
While she's unconscious. Good at the back of her neck. After she's been put out in a sleeper hold. Like Adrian Adonis in WrestleMania 3. They didn't shave her head, thankfully. So then at this point, Jason Rose says that the problem was, this is why we did this. Okay. Melissa, I didn't want to tell you guys this. Melissa's a black witch.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Right.
She's a black witch, and we don't mean black like racially. She's a black witch.
They're the most dangerous ones.
Yeah, that's the thing. And she's a friend of this guy I know who threatened to kill me.
Yeah, he's a warlock.
And then she comes around, a black witch.
Right.
Obviously sent his minion.
What am I going to do?
To come kill me. Right. And then I throw the stones on the ground, and they go, well, you're going to die if you don't do this. So what the fuck else am I supposed to do?
The fuck is going on?
I mean, seriously, bro. I mean, you get my situation, right? So I'll be back with the grandparents. We're supposed to go to Denny's tonight. I'm super psyched.
How do we get to this weird shit?
It gets worse. He says that listen, John Jones, my partner here, he wanted Melissa dead. And so, after I put her in a sleeper hold, Jones said, quote, oh my God, Jesus Christ, quote, I give you this sacrifice in the name of Arioch. I guess that's some sort of satanic shit. I don't know what I know. I'm probably just saying it wrong. Arioch. Look it up. I don't know.
Arioch.
Arioch, yeah. He said that then they placed a spear across her neck, across Melissa's neck, and stood on both ends of it. One stood on either end of it for 10 minutes.
Wow.
To make sure that, you know.
Holy shit, that's a long time.
That's a long time. Just to make sure.
Yeah.
You know, she wasn't breathing.
That's a host set.
That's an entire host set, including comment cards and everything. So, including intro of the feature. Now, he also, Rose tells the police that he said, listen, she didn't really struggle much while we were killing her because I told her she was a black witch. I said, look, we're killing you because you're listen, stop struggling. You're a fucking black witch. Don't you know what's going on here?
Obviously, no.
You're a black witch.
Yeah.
Duh. And, quote, we're giving you the greatest honor to sit at the right hand of Arioch in hell as a sacrifice.
Wow.
That's what he said. He's like, so, I mean, we told her that, so...
Everything's good now.
You know,
right.
I'll be going back to back to show.
We're going to go find more black witches.
I know. So she's a black witch, and she said that she stopped struggling when he told her that.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh yeah, cool."
Great.
Like, yeah, my bad. What am I thinking? Like, struggle, obviously, like it's your natural reaction. But I forgot I'm a black witch. It's a great honor. I'm going to be, you know.
Don't forget to rob my corpse.
I'm going to sit at the right hand, and oh, by the way, please feel free to give all my jewelry to your shitty girlfriends, please. Now, then they removed her jewelry and, quote, sacrificed it to some god. Not a particular one. He doesn't have a specific deity in mind. Just some god.
There's a god.
The god of 19-year-old mall jewelry that you steal. He then
the god of the pagoda.
The god of the piercing pagoda. That's perfect. Oh, mighty piercing pagoda. Oh, the big pagoda. Oh, God.
The big pagoda.
The big pagoda. That's what they call him.
That sounds like a god or at minimum a baseball player's nickname.
The big pagoda. How you doing? The big pagoda. The big pagoda's from right outside of Philly. The big pagoda hit 41 home runs this year.
Ian's going to see the big pagoda tonight.
How did they not put the big pagoda on the All-Star team?
Unbelievable.
He's got 27 home runs. It's only July 2nd. What are you kidding? He's not going to make the fucking team? A load of shit.
The goddamn pagoda.
So after they worship at the pagoda here, I don't even know what to say here. Then, this is again, just one thing is stupider than the next.
Yeah.
Then they say they removed her blouse and ripped her pants to make it appear as though she had been raped.
Yeah.
Which there is no sexual assault. She was not raped, but and then they put her body in the shrubs and covered it with a board.
Oh
That's his story. So,
just wasted a young girl.
Yeah, no reason.
Unreal.
Black witches and such. It happens.
Apart
I mean,
pagoda and all that.
If someone's a black witch and the piercing god tells you that you must pagoda her now, you do it. So, I mean, what the fuck? So now they say, okay, they take him back to Oregon and they go, okay, we're going to take both of you idiots to the scene of the crime. Show us how it happened.
Yeah.
Just do a reenact. They're so dumb. They go, okay,
cool.
They still haven't asked for a lawyer. They're doing it. They literally have them dancing around on videotape in the woods, like reenacting a fucking
teeter-tottering with a spear and everything.
It's insane. Yeah. Like, okay, now what happened? Who did what now? Okay. You pretend that's the victim. Wow. Like that's what they're doing. They take him to the scene of the crime. They're both this stupid. Agree to reenact the murder. So the 3 reenactments were recorded on a single cassette. That'll be important later. The first reenactment was Rose alone. The second one was Jones alone, and the third one was a team effort.
Yeah.
They said, you know what, let's Cheech and Chong this thing and go at it as a pair.
Let's go.
You know what, I don't like my act. You don't like your act. If we put it together, I think we got something. So
ain't that a peach?
They used a mannequin to portray the victim. In all 3 accounts. Okay. So, wow. This is so
This is gross.
This is insane.
Yeah.
So the first reenactment here, this is just Rose. Now, he says that he and Jones and Melissa went to the campsite that Rose and Jones had set up earlier. They set up this campsite. Apparently, Jones was living with Rose for a while here, and then they've been staying in the woods for a few days. Gross. I don't know what is happening here. Apparently, Jones says that, or I'm sorry, Rose in his reenactment says that he and Melissa went into the bushes to have sex.
Yeah.
That's his story.
Okay.
We went into the bushes to have sex. He said about 45 minutes later, 45 minutes.
45 minutes of woods fucking?
Sex? You don't fuck in the woods for 45 minutes.
No.
I've been a teenager doing stuff in the woods, and it's
45 seconds.
You make out for a while, but if you're going in specifically to get woods fucking, you're not.
It's over.
As any human, I think you're going to really make this a quick transaction.
Boy.
You're not going to get comfortable.
Leave your dick out amongst bears for 45 minutes?
Mosquitoes, Jimmy. Ticks.
Oh, boy.
Ticks. Chiggers. Oh, the chiggers are everywhere.
Any fucking insect.
They're all,
I don't want my dick out amongst that.
No, and then everything else, too, is going to be exposed. No good. So, he says that after 45 minutes, Rose says he heard voices and footsteps. He thought that it was the guy who was looking for him that wanted to kill him. A guy named Vaughn Shelton.
Yeah.
He said thought it was Vaughn Shelton looking for me. So I left to find Jones to tell him, hey, bro, like
Vaughn's here.
It's time to throw down, bro. Yeah. High Satan priest or whatever.
Right.
So he said he and Jones then got themselves some spears at that point and began looking for Vaughn Shelton, looking for him in the woods.
He hunted him down with spears. Yeah.
Yeah. Hunting him down with spears. So they should have tried the controlled burn method.
Right.
They could have burned him out to the other side and speared him as he ran. That would have worked.
You gotta spook him.
See, is the native wisdom. They don't know it. That's the problem. They should have read a couple of books.
Read a book, fuckers.
Read a book. I don't think they gave him those at the alternative school. They didn't have many of those books there.
Right.
So apparently they say that soon after this, that Melissa came up behind Rose and startled him.
Yeah.
So he got startled and went, oh, Jesus, and turned around. And because he was scared, he pointed a spear at her and threatened her with it. It's at that point that he said that Jones, John turned to him and said, quote, should we kill her now?
What?
Should we kill her now? And Rose at that point said, quote, not yet. But I want the bitch dead. The rune said so.
Oh.
And, quote, we don't disobey the runes. We don't disobey the runes, Jimmy.
Which of these two is the dumber one?
That's the thing. Well, you know what I got to say? See, this episode, I struggled with it because I was like, it's not in our parameter of people. I don't want to bitch. I don't want to hear people on Twitter, well, actually, Springfield. I don't want to hear it and all that. But then I said, you know what? We don't disobey the runes, Jimmy. The runes told us to do this, so we're doing this episode.
Wow.
I will not, runes be damned. Who am I?
This is disappointing.
To besmirch a rune.
How do these two throw some stones on the ground and one is dumber than the next to go, whatever you say those mean, I'm in?
You don't disappoint the runes, Jimmy, or disobey the runes, or disappoint them. The runes would be very disappointed if you disobey them. I don't know which one is dumber. I'm going to guess that Jones is dumber because so far Rose is making it sound like Jones is the main. Yeah. He's the one going, should we kill her now? But then again, Jones, in his own words, said, I want the bitch dead.
Right.
The runes said so, and we don't disobey the runes. Like, he's almost like saying, well, obviously, I couldn't control it if the runes said so. I had to do it. Like, the cops would understand that. Oh, he said there's a rune thing, so should we let him? All right, Chief, we'll cut him loose.
As human beings, this is fucking embarrassing.
This is absolutely terrible. So, he then said that Melissa told him and Jones that they actually were right, and she was working for Vaughn Shelton. Oh. They're right.
Yeah.
This is they got her plot. Now I'm sure this is after beating her and torturing her.
Right.
She would have said anything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Anything that makes her get to go home.
That's why people confess to fucking murder because they're just tired. Now if you take
waterboarding
a teenage girl and threaten her in the woods with spears and beat the shit out of her, she'll probably admit to anything. Yeah. It's like Reservoir Dogs where they're like, he's going to admit to setting the fucking Chicago fire if you beat him enough. This doesn't help any. not good information.
No.
It's not great. So she said, he said that's what they told us. She is working for Shelton. And then he's like, at that point, I was pissed.
Yeah.
Before that, I'm like, it's a rune thing only. We're going to kill her, but it's only about the runes.
I was
at that
good
point.
and mad, but it was just telling me what to do. Now I've got motivation.
Yeah. Now it's like, Jesus Christ. Now what are we going to do here? He became very angry, and he said that he stated to her, and this is his own words. This isn't someone else said that he said this. This is what he's telling the police. He told his very soon to be murder victim.
Yeah.
Okay. Quote, "Bitch, you shouldn't have told me that. I don't want to kill you, but it looks like we have to now to survive."
Oh my God.
He even left in the bitch part, which says he's the dumber one.
Yeah.
Because you'd think just to make himself sound a little less like a dick, he would have said, "You shouldn't have told me." No, he said, "I told her, bitch, you shouldn't have told me that." What the fuck is wrong with you, you stupid bastard?
I insulted her. With a very cliche, derogatory term for a woman.
I wanted to hit her with some misogyny first, right? And then I was like, you know what? This black witch, she needs that shit.
Right.
Oh my God. He then said he grabbed her around the neck and, quote, wrenched down hard. She struggled, but finally became unconscious. I don't know if that was after he told her that to chill out. Right. This is a good thing. Right. You're going to sit at the right hand of fucking
whatever Antioch
pagoda god, of piercing pagoda god, and then all that shit's gonna happen. I'm not sure what he told her then at that point, but he then said that he then acted out removing her sweater, removing the sweater that she was wearing, that he loaned her earlier to keep warm. So he put it back on.
He took it off of her?
Oh, it was her. It was his.
He took it back.
It was my sweater.
Wow.
What the fuck? I'm going to let her. She's a black witch. Yeah. I'm going to leave the sweater on her. She's not going to be cold. That's what he said. He's like, So he said the jacket came off because of the sweater coming off. He had to, because the sweater was under the jacket.
Got it.
She had to lay her up.
Right.
So, he said he kept that. And then he said, quote, in the name of Ariok, we grant your sacrifice now.
Right.
Is what he said. And then he said, as he said that, Jones then came and struck her at that point with the machete, and he acted that out. And then he said, Rose says that he then walked toward Melissa, and as he did, he said she rolled over, so she was face up. And he goes, "Oh, for Christ's sake, she's still breathing." Fucking black witch. See? Yeah. That's what it is. That's what they used to do it in Salem, right? If you whack them with a machete twice in the back of the neck and the rune stones tell you so, then they're a witch, I believe is how it worked. And if not, then they float. I don't know how it works.
Light them on fire.
I think so. Yeah. Either way, I believe there was rune stones involved. So either way, they said that, oh my God, I can't even believe these fucking people are just stupid. What's coming up? She's still breathing, and he said that she started to regain consciousness.
Oh, my God.
So rather than
After being hacked.
"Oh, my God, we're horrible monsters. We choked her and hacked her with a machete. Let's run away and call 911 from a payphone and tell them where she is, even if we're something." I don't know what the fuck. Instead, he says that, oh, my God, Rose says that he, quote, karate chopped her in the throat.
What a dipshit.
He karate chopped her in the throat?
Yeah.
He said, and he made like a real, I know karate face. No. He karate chopped her in the throat.
All that does, you ever been karate chopped? Karate chop every time you go, "What are you doing, asshole?"
Yeah.
The fuck's wrong with you?
What? You think you missed something?
Was there a fly on me?
Oh, what happened?
What happened?
Oh, car coming? What happened? I didn't know. Oh, you were. Hey, Hey, fuck you, dude.
Were you attempting to hurt me?
Hey,
you jerk.
Push him.
Fuck's wrong
dick.
with you?
Get away from me.
Karate chopped her in the throat.
That's the Jean-Claude Van Damme here is going to blood sport her one last day. Just saw blood sport.
It was
just
Hong
came
Kong
out.
Phooey.
Karate chopped her in the throat and brought his elbow down in her stomach just below her ribs. So, and then after that, he checked her pulse. So he thought, literally, he said, "Chop elbow." That ought to do it. And then checked her pulse. I swear to God, that's his fucking story. He karate chopped her and elbowed her and went.
He
done.
Murders like a big brother.
Yeah, done.
Like your 2-year-older uncle.
And he was surprised. I mean, we don't mean to be laughing. This is happening to this poor girl. She's 19. Worst. But when someone's this fucking stupid and saying these words out loud, we're laughing at him because he's a complete. It's horrible if this was happening to a human being, especially a 19-year-old fucking girl. But Jesus Christ, what an idiot. He then, chop, elbow, check her pulse.
Yeah.
Fucking still got a pulse.
Can you believe it?
I saw in a movie the chop should work. I don't know what happened. And then the extra elbow is to get all the air out of her.
Yeah.
You do a chop, that'll cut it all off, and then that puffs it all out, and then she's dead. That's how it works.
Poke her in the eyes and give her a noogie. See how that works.
He then said that he straddled her body and choked her with his hands for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. That's his new story. I choked her with my hands for 5 to 10 minutes.
That's the new one.
That's the new one, rather than we both stood on a spear and did a balancing thing for a while. So he says that Jones then suggested they lay the spear across the neck, and he said, "Yeah, good idea. Yeah. That's good. That'll kill a black witch."
Much
from what
easier
I hear.
than this.
I've been showing my hands. I got a carpal tunnel.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I just so much typing.
You ever squeeze anything for a long period of time?
It's tough. That's
tough. Hard.
Yeah, strangling's hard work.
Oh,
I gotta
boy.
say, yeah. If you strangle someone, you really wanted it.
You better have a rope or a garrote or something. When you do it
manual
manually,
asphyxiation,
fuck.
you wanted that so bad.
Yeah.
Like that person really.
Nothing would make you happier than this person dead.
After a while, you'd be like, Jesus, you know what? Never mind. You're a dick, but my hands hurt.
Oh, boy.
This is ridiculous. But no, this asshole here, these assholes decide, let's lay a spear across this poor fucking girl's neck. Mm-hmm. He said, great idea. And now he says on the video, they stood at both ends of the spear for 20 minutes.
Oh, boy.
Talking about what the rune stones had said to them.
Yeah.
Let's discuss it. It takes 20 minutes to decipher them. They're very complicated. He said that at that point they checked the body, to see what happened here. Rose also tells the cops that Jones was an apprentice. Okay, this is when it gets it gets weird.
Yeah.
Jones was an apprentice, quote, who served Ariok, a god of chaos and evil, worshipped by human sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's what he says on camera.
An apprentice.
He's an apprentice, but Rose describes himself as a necromancer.
Oh, boy.
Who is someone who conjures up spirits of the dead. Okay. So he's like, he's a fucking, apprentice to Ariok, whatever. He's getting coffee. I'm a fucking necromancer. Jeez. I'll bring people from the dead. Yeah. That's how I do my thing. So,
necromance the shit out of them.
Just so you know. Yeah, it's necromantic, this guy is.
It's ridiculous.
He's fucking unreal. He says that he didn't feel a pulse and the body felt colder, which after 20 minutes, it would have lost a little temperature. He says that, but they weren't sure, and just to make sure she was dead, because, come back to life. I'm a necromancer.
Also,
I'm around.
Sometimes we put him down. I could have just brought her back just to joke with
by
him.
accident.
Just to fuck with him.
You never know. That's the thing. So I said, "Why don't you check him?" And I giggled a little bit.
Right.
I did a and then so he said. So at that point, they talked for a little while longer. They, just to make sure. About 5 more minutes. They stood on the spear, talking about, quote, what the rune said to do next. Then they said that they took her necklaces, and he and Jones took her rings, and they threw the body where they threw it. And then, while Rose performed a ritual to keep the spirits away, obviously, Jones covered the body with brush and a board because he's the apprentice. See, and then they placed the necklaces in her purse and carried the purse and rings and sweater and her jacket back to their campsite. By the way, he was going to use her. This is ridiculous. He was using her purse as like a weed bag.
Really?
Like a paraphernalia bag there. Wow. I got my bowl and my little scraper.
Puts his kit.
Yeah, little kit. That's what he was going to use it as. Because he's smart. Yeah. That's smart when someone's... Wow.
Reuse. Recycle, reuse, reuse.
You know how it works. It's Oregon. Yeah. We don't want to just let it go to waste. You reuse. So Rose says he then built a fire and threw some of the Melissa's jewelry into the fire as a sacrifice to 2 gods who, quote, take jewelry and crafted items as sacrifices. Okay. He then says that he and Jones kept the jewelry that they didn't sacrifice, gave some to their girlfriends, kept some and all that, kept the cosmetics bag, not her purse, but her cosmetics bag, which he used to make his little weed kit bag.
And her caboodle?
And her jacket, which he altered and wore.
What?
He fucking
chopped it up to
sliced
make it
the
cooler?
sleeves off or something.
Wow.
He wore her. The victim, you murdered someone and you're walking around with their jewelry and jacket on.
Boy.
How fucking dumb are you?
Modified jacket.
Dumb shit. Yeah. It's fine now. They won't know.
What the fuck he thinks he is?
Wow. He says that, after he reenacted it, they asked him how he felt about killing Melissa. They asked Rose. And Rose said that he had, quote, passed through the 7th gate. So obviously, you know what that means. You know,
of hell.
But you know,
it's a gate.
That's what I. So your mom died. How do you feel about that? Man, I passed through the 7th gate, and you're like, okay, cool, bro. I'm glad to hear you're doing better.
I'm freaked out by you, but that was weird.
No, I don't know what that is. Passed through the 7th gate, which he explained was a human sacrifice, and that made him feel good because that's got him through the 7th gate. So I mean, once you go through the 7th gate, obviously things are much better for you. Now it sounds like Scientology is like what's happening now. Is this Scientology or say what the fuck is?
Worse, you shouldn't. Nobody should know this much.
This is a lot.
This is too much. Once you're hanging out with somebody and they explain all this stuff to you before you've sacrificed anything, whether it be a bottle or a cup or a fucking squirrel. What?
Yeah, well, we said
Gates. No, I'm going home.
Read a book. I think he's read too many books. Is the problem? Right. I think his problem is one too many
fiction books.
Yeah, one that made him think that there was gates to pass through for human sacrifice.
Get the fuck out of the fiction section.
What are you doing?
You lost track of the Dewey Decimal System.
Then he told the detective, "quote She was hard to kill. This was a human sacrifice." That was that. So there is a discrepancy between his reenactment of the murder and the third reenactment. There's a discrepancy between Rose's reenactment solo and then the tag team reenactment that they did here together. In the first reenactment, he said that they took her jewelry after she was dead. In the third reenactment, they said that she was still alive when they took her jewelry. That's what Rose said, and then Jones agreed with it. So that's the discrepancy, is when they took her jewelry, nothing else. So that's what happened, pretty much, all of that shit. They all agree to that.
That's awful.
It's crazy. So they indict, obviously. Rose is indicted here. 1 count of aggravated murder, mind you.
Oh, boy. Because of the robbery.
Yeah. Based on they have theories of this where it's aggravated murder is murder in the course and in furtherance of a robbery in the first degree, murder in the course and in furtherance of kidnapping, murder in the course or as a result of intentional maiming, and murder in the course of or as a result of intentional torture. All 4 of those qualify.
It all works.
Anything.
Yeah.
Good.
You're going
blanket umbrella right over you, Chief, like a big fucking filbert tree hanging over you with its shade.
My God.
So he's also charged with robbery in the first degree, which allows him to have aggravated murder charges. The state says, why don't we look for the death penalty on Mr. Rose here? Since he's an adult, he's 19. Let's seek the death penalty on him. Fuck this kid. So, they said his attorney, though, Terry Goff, he called the prosecutor's version of the killing, which is actually Rose's videotaped, acted out version of the killing, quote, nothing but smoke and malarkey.
Oh.
Malarkey. It's malarkey, damn it. You know what happens when that happens. Malarkey comes out of the woodwork.
Is that a real word, malarkey?
He used it in a court of law, and they wrote it down in a document, so I'm going to assume, He says that, yes, of course, Rose caused Meyer's death here, Melissa, obviously, but most likely by applying a chokehold after Meyer informed him that she was working for this Von Shelton guy. There's a lawyer, my God, the lawyer is putting forth his bullshit in the court saying, she worked for a rival Satanist who was trying to have my client killed. This guy, Melissa tells him, I'm working for Vaughn. He had no choice but to put her in a chokehold.
Self-defense.
Accidentally. He killed her at that point. So, a mistrial or something, right? I don't know. I didn't go to law school at all. I did. No, I have a bindle. He told me to put it down and come in here. I don't know what's going on. I met him in the woods. First down at the Eugene Mall, and then we went to the woods to smoke a joint.
To the pagoda.
He was like, "You want to be a lawyer?" And I was like, "Sure."
I could use you.
And he stole one of his dad's suits, and here I am. So he said that's all it was. He said the type of work that she did wasn't specified, but she assumed that she did for Von Shelton was they didn't specify, but they could only assume that it was something dark and nefarious, and that she needed to be choked. Obviously, his client shouldn't be convicted of aggravated murder because no aggravating circumstances were present in this slaying. It was just an accidental self-defense whole thing. What the fuck, man?
Accidental self-defense.
You know how it goes. Accidental self-defense. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. It's like I have to explain everything to you people. Accidental self-defense. It's a thing. I accidentally was self-defensive, I didn't mean to be. But, Von Shelton, don't you? You know what? I quit, man. This is ridiculous. You people are dicks. You don't know anything. You don't know about Von Shelton. You don't know about rune stones. I'm just upset. So while awaiting trial here, Rose continued to draw all sorts of satanic symbols in his cell, like a fucking idiot in the Lane County jail. Mostly like the inverted pentagram and the goat head in the middle, all that horse shit. Like you saw a Slayer album and fucking put it up there. And investigators would come in and take pictures of it to use against him at trial and all that shit. Now, normally, I really, really hate the whole satanic panic horse shit, especially of the 80s. And that's how the West Memphis 3 got falsely accused and all that shit, because it's a real... People went nuts and they lost their mind. And if they saw, oh my, it's Satan. Yeah. But when you got a guy literally being like, yeah, the runestones in Vaughn, what the fuck, bro? You don't understand? Black Witch. Black Witch. Now,
there was like 9 satanic ritual killings.
In reality. It's very rare.
And the majority of them were in movies.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
And it made people... This is one where whatever the actual intent was, these two idiots... Both, I don't know if maybe Rose was tricking Jones into doing this, because he seems like the brains of the operation, Rose.
Somebody's pretty dumb.
I don't know. That's what I mean. I don't know if Rose was tricking Jones, like he wanted to kill this girl for his own, because he has this criminal record and he's kind of a douche and he's escalatingly bad for his own needs, but was like, hey, I can get Jones to do it if I do this whole runestone, Black Witch shit, and then maybe I can get off on maybe an insanity thing if I keep it going. I can't just for common sense, I can't think that this kid sat around realistically thinking, I threw the fucking stones, they told me this, she's working for Vaughn Shelton, I gotta kill her. She's a Black Witch. Black Witch, Black Witch, sacrifice human, throw... I can't imagine you know what I mean?
It's bananas.
It seems like an excuse.
And even if he did believe it, how could he possibly think that he's going to explain that to everybody?
That's what I mean.
Nobody that he's ever met thinks this way.
So it's almost like, that's what I'm saying. It's not a thing. And then he's saying it, and it's like the prosecutors aren't going to say he's full of shit, because it makes their case even better. That's a satanic murder. There's his reason right there. Satanic fucking sacrifice, which scares the shit out of the jury. They want to lock him up forever. That's what happens. So it's almost like everybody's happy with this lie, I feel like. You know what I mean? He's happy to tell it, makes him feel better, makes him look like he's not just a bloodthirsty animal.
Monster.
There's a reason for it, and it makes the cops feel like, well, there's a reason to give the jury right there. So he also, they also said that they tell the judge that a deputy sheriff would testify that John Jones smiled and laughed when Rose made some, quote, particularly callous statements about the victim's demise while they were making the video thing. He says that Jones and Rose took an hour to kill Melissa Meyer, and they, quote, worshipped a god that demanded human sacrifice from them. See, that's what I mean. That's silly shit. But that's the story he's telling. So it's like, but fine, if that's the story you want to tell, you want to make it worse, great. We'll run with that shit. Now, Dan Koenig, Koenig, which is crazy that his name is that. I'd really like to know,
the relationship.
Well, no.
It's gotta be.
No, to our bonus episode. That's a name that's going to come up in our bonus episode this week, and it's in this area also, and it's an interesting thing, but never mind here.
Isn't Sarah from this area also?
Sarah Koenig, I'm not sure if she is or not. Okay. But this is Jones's defense attorney. He argues that, look, John Jones, he only participated in Melissa's killing because he was so scared of Jason Rose and was dominated by him. He is the man holding the stones, Jimmy. You don't disobey the stones, Jimmy.
No,
Jesus Christ. During most of the evening, he said that Jones didn't believe that Rose really was going to kill Meyer. Like, apparently this was a planned thing that Rose was like, we're going to take her back there, we're going to fucking kill her because she's working for Vaughn Shelton and, you know, whatever. But he was like, yeah, right. Like, he thought it was just a big play around. Jones is what he's saying at court now. In court, he'll later on say that he was so concerned that he really just wanted to try to get her away from the campsite, but then it, went too far, obviously. He said, after the first time that Rose choked Meyer, Rose's attorney said that Rose twice ordered Jones to kill her, and the second time Rose ordered Jones to kill her, that's when the machete thing happened, and they do all of that because they show the jury the reenactment. And Jones will later say that he was fearful that Rose would try to kill him, so he had to do it. Jones, oh my God, the Koenig, who's Jones's attorney, will say, quote, it was a master-servant relationship that Johnny Jones had with Mr. Rose. John Jones only did what Jason Rose told him to do, directed him to do, commanded him to do. He did it under threat of his own life. So, yeah. They said Koenig even called the medical examiner that said in all likelihood Melissa was dead before they stood on the spear placed across her neck. They were probably just bad at looking for a pulse and thought they felt something, and it was probably their own pulse. When you're
feel it through the thumb.
Well, especially when you just killed a 19-year-old girl
pumping.
And your adrenaline's pumping, you can feel it through your own thumb. That's probably what they felt.
Not just that, you just choked the shit out of a girl for 5 minutes.
You know, the adrenaline of murder for no reason has to be great, I would imagine.
Got some blood pumping.
Yeah. So now in the robbery, this is important here. The robbery, in order to sustain a conviction for robbery in the first degree, the state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he, quote, this was in the course of committing theft, used physical force upon the victim, and 3, with intent of preventing or overcoming her resistance to the taking of the property, and that 4, that in that process he caused serious physical injury. Now, obviously, they said the first, second, and fourth elements aren't up for much debate. The committing theft, using force upon the victim, and causing her physical injury. The intent of preventing or overcoming her resistance to the taking of the property is the third part that has to be met as well, though. And that's where they're trying to say that it's not that's not proven.
Well, it depends. Did they say before or after she's dead?
That's the thing, and that's where there's the discrepancy in the videotapes, and that's where that's going to set. It seems like no big deal at the time, but then when it comes up in a case of death penalties, crossing I's and across, dotting I's and crossing
T's and crossing
I's and dotting T's. So they said that he admits that he committed the theft. He used physical force and all that shit. The state is not required to prove his motive for that. The issue is, though, is not why he did what he did, but whether he committed it with the intent of it. So not motive, but intent, which sound the same. Sounds the same, but they're very, very different.
Well, intent is the actual
legally
the motion of doing
super
it.
Different.
Motive is just a reason to have intent.
Intent is what you wanted to have done. A motive is the reason you wanted to have it done. So you got to have a motive to have an intent type of thing. But the motive isn't important; only the intent. And they're very hard to peel apart from each other sometimes in court, and that's why people get life sometimes instead of the death penalty. It works out like that. So at this point, Rose told. They talk about they also call the Newman girl, the Robin Newman girl, to the stand, and she says that he told her that he and Jones, quote, might know something about the victim's murder, and then all the easy to kill a friend stuff, and said that they needed money and they were looking for a place to live. So they also needed to find a place to live in addition to being, whatever. She had a price on her head. They had to kill her in order to get money and all that stuff. They had to give her shit away. They had to sacrifice some of her stuff. You know how it goes. Yeah. So now later on, by the way, he's going to try to get these videotapes to not be seen by the jury, which seems like you wouldn't want them to see that. But he is. The jury does get the tapes, and we'll talk about that in a little bit here. But he argues that if the jury views Jones's reenactment, the second one, his confrontation rights aren't there, because then he has to be able to cross-examine Jones, because that's basically testimony by Jones. So he's saying if the jury sees the second one, they can't see it. So it's unclear whether the jury sees the entire videotape or if the second reenactment is edited out. Jones's solo reenactment. Okay. That's unclear in the jury after this all goes to trial, after this all goes to verdict and everything like that. So it's very complicated. That makes a big difference. So the judge says, it seems to me you ought to do is proceed to put all of them on separate tapes, and then perhaps you and defense counsel can agree on the same thing of what's been received in evidence and blah, blah, blah. And so they say, yeah, that's the proper solution. And so then they end up not knowing if that actually happens, though. During deliberations, a juror requested that the jury be given a television, a VCR, and the videotape of the reenactments, and they were given that, but they don't know whether it's an edited version or not. Either way, they come back surprisingly guilty for aggravated murder.
Okay.
Not surprising.
Right.
He's not denying it, and he's also doesn't seem real sorry about it. So either way, it's just bad. He's just, well, it was a human sacrifice, and boy, he couldn't help it. May 16th, 1989 is sentencing for Rose. Several witnesses, they have him testify that he had an interest in the occult, which that shit's not needed. I get that they're trying to pump it up and he's so evil, but that's not really relevant. Even though I guess it is because he says it is. That's the thing. His lawyer argued that he was a, quote, macho, dumb kid. And that's what I think. I think he was drawing pentagrams on his wall to be like, see, look how scary I am. Look how badass I am. He thought that was cool.
Nobody believed any of that shit.
No.
I mean, there was a couple.
There was some people, but
very few people.
Yeah.
I bet the fucking Night Stalker didn't even believe this shit.
Probably. Well, maybe he was an idiot.
He was just a bad actor.
He was also an asshole.
Terrible actor. So bad at the phoniness.
And the things he did was very just depraved and scummy. Him and like BTK are the two scummiest, grossest.
Just dirtbags.
Yeah, I mean, Bundy was a scumbag too, but those two were really just gross for some reason.
Bundy did it for fucking, you know what I mean? Yeah,
he had a weird,
these two,
he needed it. It was weird.
BTK did it to Tug. That's fucking weird.
That's what's even weirder.
Oh, Jesus.
It was just Tug material.
Oh, boy.
He had to make his own weird snuff.
In the fucking
live snuff porn. What a gross motherfucker.
Oh, Jesus.
So they said that this was actually an accidental, not a human sacrifice. Come on, the kid's crazy. Jury deliberates for 3 days about the penalty here. They decide they would like him sentenced to death. They agree unanimously it was deliberate and unprovoked murder, and that also Rose is pretty likely to be dangerous in the future, which I would agree with that. They said all the votes, if any of the votes had been less than unanimous on any of these, then it would have been a minimum 30-year sentence. But they instead tell him, you, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for you.
Oh, shit.
Rose gets the death penalty. He is the first person to be sentenced to death in Lane County since 1927.
Wow.
1927.
60 years.
60 fucking years the last time in Lane County a person was sentenced to death.
It's a damn good thing that they got caught before Green River.
Oh, yeah.
In that area of the country, the death penalty is, your penalty is based on other similar ones. So if anybody ever somebody has to kill more people than Green River to get the death penalty.
No, that's not. Now it's a different thing. We'll talk about why, because he's also the second person to be sent to the death row since they've brought it back, and we'll talk about we'll talk about the whole thing here. But yeah, he says they asked Rose whether he had anything to say about the sentence, and he says, quote, "I don't think I should receive this," which is, I mean, okay, well, that's fine.
I do.
I disagree. I think you're pretty good. I think you're a dick.
12
you killed
other people.
I think you super killed a 19-year-old girl. There's no question you did it, and you did it really for no fucking reason. Just because you're an asshole.
In a scummy ass way.
Yeah, you lured her there and planned it. Yeah. Nope, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Sorry. So now John Ray Jones has his trial. He's originally charged with aggravated murder and first-degree robbery, the same thing. Yeah. Mind you, he was a minor when this was committed.
He's got to be losing his shit.
The state, in his case, failed to prove the specific time and cause of her death, and that they happened at this time at this place. So they said that he clearly had intent to kill Meyer and committed the acts to the end, but they couldn't try him. They couldn't do the aggravated murder thing because of that. So he was not a death penalty eligible anyway. He's remanded for trial in adult court, convicted of intentional murder and robbery in the third degree.
Okay.
So that's non-death penalty. His sentencing here, judge tells him, you, sir, may also fuck off. Follow your asshole friend here.
37?
Life.
Oh, shit.
With a 25-year minimum sentence for the murder and a 5-year sentence to be served concurrently for robbery.
Well, shit.
So, I mean, also he's ordered to pay, and this is no shit, this is directly from a newspaper, ordered to pay $50 to the state's Victims Assistance Fund. $50?
What's the point?
I don't know. And upon release from prison, he'll be required to pay $5,000 to the victim's parents.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's that.
So maybe that $50 is because they make so little in prison that
$50.
They're pretty much forcing him to work for a long fucking time in prison.
I don't know what kind of fine $50 is, though. It's a murder conviction, and you'll pay them $50. Yeah. Oh, I just got life in prison and $50.
Yeah, but you make like 11 cents a day.
Yeah, that's just not a lot.
It's more expensive to feed African adoptees. You know what I mean?
No, true.
They couldn't even adopt one. Prisoners.
No, they probably couldn't. It would be hard to do.
They couldn't afford it.
So 1989 comes along, and this is right after he's been sentenced, Rose, to death. Rose is one of 24, almost 24, a little over 20 Oregon State death row inmates whose sentences are overturned by a 1989 U.S. Supreme Court ruling. And in that ruling, the way Oregon did their death penalty was did not adhere to the Supreme Court ruling, which means they had to go back and do every case, and they overturned all these sentences. So the ruling was based on a ruling of down in Texas about a case in Texas where it basically says that mitigating circumstances. I'm not going to explain it until I had to look up all fucking Supreme Court decision and figure this out. It sucks. Trust me. I was up at 5 a.m. doing this.
I believe it.
Fucking punch everyone in Texas for it. No offense, Texas, see in Dallas and Houston, but this whatever the fuck happened down there that caused this made me read more when I didn't want to. So basically says that mitigating circumstances must be considered, and apparently I don't think in Oregon that's the case where you have to weigh mitigating and whatever. So it didn't adhere to that. So all these people, based on the law, are overturned. He's resentenced to life in prison on July 10th, 1989. So fuck back off again.
Yeah.
Life in prison. No parole for him, by the way.
None.
He's got no parole. Life without for Rose.
Boy.
That's the death penalty one there. So now he's going to appeal based on first videotape reenactments here. He's going to say that the record shows that the trial court and counsel were aware that the first and third reenactments had been offered by evidence, and the trial judge stated that that the jury would not be allowed to see the Jones reenactment under any circumstances. So they said, quote, "We conclude that the record does not support Rose's suggestion that the jury viewed the reenactment by Jones alone. Accordingly, we find this claim of error unresponsive, basically, or unpersuasive. Basically, they say there's no proof that the jury saw all 3 videos, even though there's damn well sure they might have.
They don't document which ones they see?
No, they don't know which. They said there's different ones. There's 2 videotapes. One, which is marked State's Evidence 28, contains all 3 reenactments. The other, which is marked State's Evidence Exhibit 28, edited version, not 28B or something to make it whatever. And also, jury's copy State's 28 reenactment contains only the first and third reenactments, but they're not sure which of these tapes were handed to them officially. So that's the thing.
You'd think that they would document that shit in a fucking murder trial.
You would imagine. Literally while they're deliberating the death penalty. Right. They go, this might come up later. Right. There's always appeals, so it's going to come up. Shit's going to be under a microscope, stupid. So the next thing he argues is, was it actually during a robbery? That's what he's saying. It wasn't actually during a robbery. The jury wasn't basically, they said, was inferred that Rose and Jones stole the property to get money. The jury also inferred that Rose and Jones stole the property to sacrifice it to gods who take jewelry and crafted items as sacrifices, and that the sacrifice of the victim and her property were part of a scheme to placate the gods, which would also be a gain for them. So either way, it was placating the gods, selling the shit at a pawn shop, same shit, basically. They're also entitled to infer, they said, that Rose and Jones stole the property to give it to their girlfriends and to keep it for their own use, and that Rose's possession of the property after the murder is evidence of the motive underlying the homicide. They said the jury was not bound to accept the counsel's defense's argument that they used physical force and only did so for the purpose of causing her harm and death, and not with the intent of preventing or overcoming her resistance to the theft of property. They're saying, we just wanted to kill her. We didn't give a shit if we got her jewelry or not. So they said they formed the intent to take the property only after she was dead as a mere afterthought. But there's that third reenactment where they say they took it first.
Right.
So that's why it's hard to say. And they say, that's up to the jury, basically. They could have whatever. And then what kind of murder? They said there's evidence in the record that the jury could have inferred that the physical force was used in the commission of the robbery. They do all of that. And they said, again, viewing the evidence, they conclude that the evidence was sufficient to permit the jury could have found the essential elements of the crime of aggravated murder beyond a reasonable doubt. Fuck you. So, jury instructions, another one. They talk about how basically the close of the trial court gave the juries a special verdict form, and they had 4 theories of aggravated murder, like we talked about, and the jury returned guilty of aggravated murder and robbery first degree, as we know. It's very complicated to the juror form questions. It's I'm not going to get into it. They talk literally about the 5th question on a juror form was this worded this way and not that way. That's what we're talking about here. And finally, there's a videotape of the victim's body, of Melissa's body. Rose contends the trial court erred in admitting into evidence a videotape showing Melissa's body at the scene of the crime and at the hospital being prepared for an autopsy.
Oh, fuck.
Which that's worse than photos, because photos, as we know, can be allowed in. But videotape is a little more...
Oh, it's so personal.
It's more, Photos is two-dimensional. Right. I mean, video's two-dimensional, too, but when it's moving, it's a different...
Graphic.
It's graphic. They said that argues that portions of the videotape are unfairly prejudicial. The court says, although relevant evidence may be excluded if its probative value is substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice, confusion of the issues, or misleading of the jury, or by considerations of undue delay or needless presentation of cumulative evidence. Basically, they said the trial court asked whether they objected to the exhibit, and they said, quote, "I don't have any objection to the tape as such, Your Honor. I do at some point will argue against the introduction of any more pictures of the body. It's not cumulative right now, but they have pictures and then the film and then other pictures. As far as showing the tape right now, I don't have any objection." So they tried to say, I'm going to limit it at some point. Doesn't matter, basically. They said, then he said, quote, "I do have an objection to part of the film. Your Honor, at the hospital, I think that's unduly prejudicial to the defendant. Apparently it's just before they start the autopsy. So they had her prepped for autopsy, which is a particularly that's but usually it's photos like that and crime scene shit. Court overruled the objection. Videotape was shown to the jury, and the appeals court says we're good with that. Fuck off. So affirms. Now Jones appeals. He's appealing both conviction and sentence, both of them. So he is looking. His thing is about mandatory minimum sentence and juvenile status. That's his thing here. There's a quote here from the law. "Notwithstanding any other provision of law, a sentence imposed on any person remanded from the juvenile court under this particular statute shall not include sentence of death or life in prison without the possibility of release or parole, nor imposition of any mandatory minimum sentence, except that a mandatory minimum sentence under whatever statute shall be imposed where the person was 17 years of age at the time of the offense." So they said this statute doesn't define a mandatory minimum sentence, and they're trying to say that he shouldn't be in jail as long as he is. They said that a court quote here says that a person convicted of murder shall be punished by imprisonment for life, and then they go over the different ones. It's a minimum of 10 years like this, and it's such an old law too. One says actually quote, "This is of this subsection may order that the defendant shall be confined for a minimum term of up to an additional 15 years without possibility of parole, release on work release, or any form of temporary leave or employment at a forest or work camp." So that's very specific there. Court appeals the convictions, but they do remand him for resentencing. They overturn his high sentence here. 1997, Rose is appealing something here. He's got a different kind of appeal. This is from the Statesman Journal in Salem. This is hilarious. Jason Rose appeals in 1997, saying that they need to give him his Dungeons and Dragons back.
Stop it.
They took it away.
Stop it.
And and he says it's bullshit. No. Federal judge rules that prison officials didn't violate an inmate's religious rights by confiscating his Dungeons and Dragons game. He tried to say it was his religious right to play D&D, which is amazing. He's serving for life sentence. He described, Jesus Christ. He said,
is this the only time that a D&D nerd has killed somebody? You know what I mean?
And actually been right. Yeah. And then the prosecutors in this appeal tried to say that D&D had an influence influence on the murder, which whatever and bullshit.
That's
and then
the most docile people on earth.
Yeah, so he said that part of his legal efforts to overturn his conviction, he needed the game. This is what he said. Not only is it his religious right, but as a part of his legal efforts to overturn his conviction, he needed the game, which included books, dice, and a board large enough to accommodate a small-scale dungeon, wilderness, and other playing areas, so he could plan his appeals.
Oh boy,
he's going to use D&D.
He's going to roll the dice
to plan his appeal for murder. So September of 2011 comes around, and it is a possible future parole for John Ray Jones. Right. This is shit's coming up now. In anticipation of his early release of his release date in September 2011, he underwent a psychological evaluation. As part of the evaluation, he participated in a bunch of assessments. They said they were generally positive results from that. In his evaluation, the doctor observed that Jones was, quote, clearly prepared for the interview, alert and well oriented, and displayed no symptoms of major depression, loose associations of thought, or hyperactivity. They said his personality functioning, said that he was, quote, less defensive than a previous assessment, and that he represented, quote, one of the best adjusted types of offenders in institutional settings.
I don't care, he's a murderer.
Yeah, he added that his profile was, quote, relatively free from any mood disorder, psychotic disorder, or schizoid adjustment, and reflected a positive attitude toward authority, an acknowledgement of risk for substance abuse, but also some lingering alienation from his family. This guy diagnosed him with mixed personality disorder with cluster B features. Watch out for that.
Doesn't that make him so much more dangerous?
Well,
do you know what I mean?
He's got any sort of anything.
Yeah,
we'll just hang on to him.
Just a normal ass dude that happened to murder somebody in a horrible way.
Yeah,
and we're just being like, well, he's rehabilitated.
That's the thing. Crazy is at least something I can understand. Yeah. Oh, he's crazy. Right. I get that, but just I don't know, just kind of had a lapse. Like holy shit, that could happen.
Served his time.
That could happen tomorrow.
Oh boy.
I want a reason.
I'm horrified by this man.
Yeah, he can be pushed into this. This is Jones, by the way. Like I said, they said that the petitioner's, quote, risk for violent activity upon release is relatively low and will likely remain so if he participates in follow-up treatment to maintain abstinence from drugs and alcohol and personal therapy. Now, in November 2011, the board conducts an exit interview with him, during which they ask him about his crime and future parole plans. And shortly after that, they issue a board action form, which is found that it states, quote, the board determines that the psychological evaluation does constitute a finding that you have a present severe emotional disturbance, such as to constitute a danger to the health and safety of our community. So the determination is based solely on the psychological evaluation. The board has considered this matter under the whatever standard that is. It's a statute thing in effect at the time of the commitment of offenses and under all applicable rules and law. So they say that after thinking about it again a month later, we think you're crazy now. We think you're dangerous. Based on the finding, the board postpones his release date, this is 2011, till June 30th, 2016. There, quote, if a psychiatric or psychological diagnosis of present severe emotional disturbance, such as to constitute a danger to the health and safety of the community, has been made with respect to the prisoner, the board may order the postponement of the scheduled parole release until a specified future date. So they can go, we think he's going to be crazy for about 5 more years. About 5, I think. Looking at him, he looks like he's got about 5 more years of crazy left in him.
Got a good 5-year gleam.
5 years. Tell you what, I see 5 in there. It's a 5-year stare he's got going on. So in December 2011, he sought an administrative review, and he contended that there was no substantial evidence to sustain the rulings. He claimed that under some statute here, that the board impermissibly considered prior psychological reports in his exit interview, because he said that shit from before. He goes, I took this interview, said I'm great. Little mixed personality, problems with my mom, but other than that, I'm feeling fucking good. I'm ready to go rock and roll here. So after January 2013, his release date had passed. The board, on its own motion, reopened the reconsideration, stating a new psychological evaluation will be obtained, and the exit interview hearing will be reconvened in April of 2013. So he completed another psychological evaluation, and in that, another doctor diagnosed him with mixed personality disorder with antisocial and avoidant personality features in partial remission. So he said that Jones, quote, is still seen as repressing awareness of uncomfortable experiences or perceptions, particularly perceptions of his self that can be perplexing.
Yeah.
So like everyone,
he's a fucking murderer.
Like murderers and also people don't like to really think about that.
Right.
They also said that if he becomes quote overwhelmed while trying to adjust in the community and find a job, or develops a conflicted relationship with his wife, or in any case begins to abuse alcohol and drugs, then his risk to reoffend would increase from minimal to high. So they're saying he might not be ready. There is what they're saying here. So the board further explains that the board went on to explain that it now believes its original decision to postpone the hearing was proper, and they still think that they're happy. They said referred to the older psychological evaluations for perspective only and didn't rely on them to make this. They just said, let's get a whole picture of him, not just this one thing. Ultimately, they deny relief, concluding that it's determined that the psychological evaluations constituted a finding that he had an emotional disturbance and was a threat. February of 2017 comes around, and the Board of Parole and Post-Prison Supervision postpones his parole date again.
Oh, no.
Based on a finding that he had a present severe emotion. Same exact fucking thing happens again.
They're going to make him so mad.
Oh, my God. Oh, they're going to make him throw rune stones on the ground.
Murder somebody.
It's like he's going to want to kill a person. They again affirm its earlier decision again to postpone his release based on the second evaluation. The same shit. Further, then he argues that the board was not authorized to rely upon the second evaluation. It just gets all complicated, and they go, no, it's fine. They do at one point agree with the petitioner, agree with him about one of his little cases here. They said they reverse and remand, but that was 2017, and he's still in prison. Right now, if you find him, I looked him up and I found that he's looking at a June 2022 release date.
Fuck, that's too early.
So it's too early. It's 44 years, 34 years, but still seems light for what the hell they did there. Rose, Mr. Rose there is in prison, no chance of parole.
Never.
Life in prison, and his mugshot, he's a big old fucking beard thing and a bald head.
Oh boy.
This is a big fucking beefy scary looking cat right now.
I understand.
Those idiots are in there. I'm not sure about the rune stones or how his D&D game is going, but either way, these guys are fucking idiots.
Wow, man. I'm blown away.
And I don't even know, like I said, I hate the whole satanic thing because it's such bullshit, and people used it for such bullshit for so long. But then
when did it here too.
Well, when a person comes out and says, this is my bullshit, they're like, he even said it's his bullshit. It's like an easy slam dunk. Like, we said he's a Satanist, and then he says it too. It's fucking easy.
Good Lord.
So I don't know what the hell happened there, but those two guys are out of their goddamn minds. And I don't know. If you enjoyed that, I do know how you can tell us that. You can get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, and tell us all about it. Give us 5 stars. It doesn't matter what you say. You got to write something in there. Just say, they're making me do this. They're forcing me. I'm following instructions. It doesn't matter is what we're saying. You can't fix us with words. It's not for our ego, so please do that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Very simple things to do there. You can buy all sorts of merchandise. You can look at crime and sports stuff, and then after that, listen to Crime and Sports, which you should be doing anyway because it's goddamn good. Do all of that stuff. Get your merch. Get your tickets to the one live show, the Crime and Sports live in Nashville. Everything else is sold out, guys. So I think, like we said, there might be 5 tickets left in Houston.
That's it.
But I would assume by the end of you listening to this episode, other people have heard it. Probably bought them. Right. So you probably should have listened to that at the beginning of the show.
All right.
Either way, get your tickets when there are tickets there. Also, we are going to announce a slew of live dates. Tons of live dates for 2020, so they'll be up on the site. And also, if you follow us, which is at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram, you will know first about the tour dates. Before we even announce them on the show, we'll announce them on social media, and also they'll go on sale. You'll know about that from social media, and you won't get left out next time. And really, guys, thank you so much for all these tickets you bought on this tour. You guys have come so strong for us where we're amazed, man. When two jackasses can go into a city that they don't even live in anywhere near and sell out a 1,000-seat theater.
It's crazy.
That's silly. Yeah. It's fucking silly. And we're just so thankful for you guys. And so what we do in these live shows is we try to give you the craziest, best live show experience ever. We try to keep our ticket prices down. Mm-hmm. Believe me, we've been told by just about everybody, from agents to the clubs themselves and the
elderly
theaters,
Italian gangsters,
to just some guy in Pittsburgh who came up, some older Italian guy came up and go, "What are you guys doing charging this little? You could charge more. These people will pay it. I'm telling you guys, what are you doing?" We understand that. We understand that we could probably. We know there's a.
He was frightening.
I loved him though. He was great.
He was great.
He's the guy to take money advice from.
That's the guy I want to walk around with.
Yeah.
He
knows everything.
Yeah. Oh God,
See,
Jesus! Nobody will ever fuck with you.
But like, it's true. We know there's a certain point that you guys will pay more for tickets, and it's not before it's like too much. And we know that we're not at that ceiling. We know that we charge lower than that. We do that on purpose. Yeah. We literally want people to walk out and go, "Fuck, that was twice as much money, twice as much show as I feel like I paid for."
Right.
I feel like I ripped them off. That's how good of a show that was. Holy shit, I can't wait to come back next time. That's what we want. We're not trying to hold people by the ankles and shake the change out of their pockets and then run away into the night. Right. We want to keep coming and do this, and we want you guys to know that no matter what our live show is, whether it's Small Town Murder, whether it's Crime and Sports, or whether it's something else that we do, it's worth coming to see.
Right.
No matter what it is.
Hydrox prices on this Oreo.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So please come out and see us, and thank you guys to everybody that has come out and done everything like that and seen us and been awesome
the
people.
Shows too, you guys give back.
They're amazing.
You guys are so great. It's so much fun. You guys are nice at the shows. You're nice to the staff. We get compliments from the venues.
Yeah, they say your people
shit
are great.
Matters.
It really does. They want us back, and that helps too. And we'll be back at nice venues.
Right.
Also, you can email us at it's crimeandsports@gmail.com. And by the way, I forgot this at the top of the show because I'm a jackass. We have a voicemail.
We do.
Where you can call, and we do like bonus episode stuff with it sometimes, where we'll have like, you can drop like a Sahara Desert fart fact that you have, or some weird small town festival you want to tell us about, questions about episodes, that sounds terrible, or go fuck your mother, whatever you want to throw in there, you can throw in there. And be creative. We'll talk about any questions. If you have a case kind of a thing, throw that in there, and we'll talk about it. The voicemail number is 602-759-0606. So leave your voicemail and we will talk to you. Or
that's not my cell number. That's not James's cell number.
That is a Google Voice number.
Don't go
that goes
texting,
to a computer.
Don't go sending dick pics. Don't be being weird.
Sarah reads it, by the way. She listens to the voicemails. Yeah. We don't even. We won't hear them till later. She like filters them out for us, so she's going to hear it. So don't be weird with us because she's there, and don't be weird with her because I'll fucking punch you in the mouth. So do that shit. Have fun with all that, and like we said, gave you the email address, and if you want to be a bigger hero to the show, one of our producers here, who we're going to talk about glowingly in just 1 second. Very, very easy to do that. You can do it at patreon.com/crimeandsports. You can make a donation there. You can get to that right from shutupandgivememurder.com, or you can head over to PayPal and just make a one-time donation anytime you want using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. And by the way, tomorrow, or Friday, I don't know when you're listening to this, but Friday, the day after Small Town Murder comes out, there will be a bonus episode of Small Town Murder on Patreon for $5 and above. They're not the full 2.5-hour episodes because Jesus Christ, I mean, you can't expect that, but they're like a half hour, 35 minutes, and we do usually pick a crazy case that's like a half hour without a ton of the detail, cut out most of the small town stuff, and just kind of give you the essence of the whole thing.
There you go.
A really crazy one like that. So please do that.
Down, James.
And let's do that. Jimmie, I need to hear from people. Toss them down like a rune stone, Jimmie, and read those names to me.
This week's executive producers are Ryan Smithson, Juna Laisti, or Laisti. I don't know if that's a joke. That's not a joke, right? Juna?
I don't think so. Sounds like somebody's name.
It sounds like it. Christiane Casadaldi, of course, again. Nathan Gayatoku, that's what it is. Chelsea Morgan, and she wanted to just thank people for chipping into, I don't know what she had going on, but the fucking community that we've cultivated.
Yeah, you guys are really nice.
You guys are just really great to each other, and it's It's so rad. It's so great to see it.
I love that when one of them needs help, like they'll all come and try to help, and like people, it's
whether it's words or financial
really
or whatever it is that the people need.
All the Facebook groups,
it's people helping people. It's fucking rad.
All the different Facebook groups and the devotees group and the fans, and there's like 5 different groups.
From time to time, there's a little kerfuffle.
They'll have spats in there, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, people, relax.
Calm down.
Jeez, what are you fighting about?
But then when there's actual work to be done,
when someone needs something,
resets somebody's life, people do it, and it's awesome.
They will rally around.
And Chelsea Morgan donated to us in response to that. So thanks you guys
Chelsea.
very much, and thank you Chelsea. Christopher Dilly, Gloria, and Errol Davis. They just got married, and they wanted to donate in honor of their marriage. Congratulations, you two.
Thank you.
Lee Walden and Leah. And they met us in, I forget where, but Lee was blacked out. Rochelle Singh.
Drunk?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Super drunk. That was what the email said. It was either Lee or Leah, and I'm going with Lee.
Sounds good.
Probably the heavier drinker there. Shannon Russell, Cassie Reedus, Rosa Lujan, and Chloe Carlson donated both ways, and extremely sweet. Thank you very much. You guys you really make things much easier on us, and you change our lives.
I would say.
Other producers this week are Kevin Michael, Ian Bottomley, Clara Grunwald, Sarah Kalin, Daniel Lumpkin, Travis, the owner of Veterans Pressure Washing in the Inland Empire. That's over in L.A., right? That's Inland Empire's L.A., right?
Inland. Yeah. It's like what?
Super inland.
Riverside shit and all that. It's like
Google Veterans Pressure Washing. And if you need pressure washing in L.A., find that guy.
Yeah.
James Giacoloni, Anastasia Middleton. Giacolone. Giacoloni.
It's Giacolone.
We were driving.
I just know by
joint.
The way you're pronouncing it, that it's Giacolone.
Pizza joint, Famiglia Pizza. I said, we can stop at the Famiglia Pizza. Jimmie, it's familia.
Just don't worry about it.
Just stop it.
Don't read Italian words.
The Famiglia Pizza.
Hey.
Anastasia Middleton, Sonia Lindberg, Lisa Lynn O'Donnell, Amy Conley, Justin Miller, Thomas Smith, Chelsea Bibick, Ricky. What? Jason? Because Mason. That's what happened. Ricky Mason, Austin Koenig. Or Koenig, Tessa Devine, Joseph Colangelo. I got that one, motherfucker.
Well, yeah, because you're from Phoenix. They only owned all the sports teams your whole life.
Lee Main, the 90s Guys podcast, Rachel Stora, Christopher Harvey, TJ Mack, Kayleen Kirsch, Ronald Carl Williams II, Ashley Vio, Gianna DeLuca. Got that one, motherfucker. Grantham Williams, I imagine that's Grant Williams. Kristen Walker, Ashley Zick, Jamie loves Jimmie, and I don't know if it's me or you. Anthony Thomason, Felipe Torres, James Martyr, Clay Thorson, Jackie Sukup, Christina with no last name, Jesse Panic, Ronnie Kumar, Reagan Shaukley, she's fantastic. Selena Yancey, Melissa Allen, she's in LA. Thank you, Melissa. Diane.
By the way, they should love us both because they wouldn't love either one of us without the other one, so it really doesn't fucking matter.
It's the same one.
Without Jimmie, it'd be fucking me yelling a lot and telling just my jokes would be yelling, and without me, it would just be quiet.
It'd
for
just
like 2
be
hours.
me reading names. Thanks to this person for listening to me read names.
Yeah, thank you.
Diane Douglas, James Stokely, Patrick Haggerty, Amanda Horton, Liz Vasquez, Alyssa May Creates, thank you, Cody Whitby, Kristen Ingram, Deidre Gutierrez. What the that was the widest way of pronouncing it. Gutierrez.
She makes good tacos. Her tacos are tremendous.
I just looked at that word and pronounced every goddamn letter.
White.
Thank you,
very white of you.
Lively Management or MGMT. I don't know. That's management, right?
Usually.
I believe so. Jesse Hartman, Sue Thompson, Alana with no last name, Baze Stowe or Baz Stowe. I could be pronouncing the joke wrong.
Either way.
Jessica Bean, Vanessa Silva, Peyton Meadows, Celeste May, April with no last name, Sean Patrick, Sir Crits a lot, Caitlin Bannister, Catherine Collado, Patrick Lau, K Zomerle, Karen Dykens, Catherine Jones, Stephanie Jones, Jordan Bennett, Leslie Buffoni, Buff One, Sarah Kalin, I said that, Sarah Wheeler, Erica with no last name, Gary Howard, Josh Newcomb. Oh my word, this is getting, it's getting to be goddamn ridiculous.
You guys are fucking awesome.
Really, thank you.
So awesome you are.
Sean Hansen, Gerald Bomer, Chloe with no last name, Caravan, Frizzell, Peter Airtight Regenfelder.
Wow.
I guess.
That's some kind of handle you got there, Chief.
Krista Glopper, Jeff Burton, I Need a Water, Jessica Hagan, Shannon Hagan, my cousin, fucking thank you so much,
thanks,
Shannon, for everything.
Dude, she's
you
a
did for
badass.
us. She's fucking rad.
She came and saw us in 2 different cities and
drove for 3 hours breastfeeding.
Dude, pumping.
She's a fucking animal.
Got like a cooler with milk. She's amazing. Just
really
awesome. And thank you.
And she's helped the show. You guys can thank her because she got
us a discount on our
fucking Apple computer.
The reason why our computer hasn't broken down in a year is because we got a good Apple computer that she got us a discount. Thank you so much,
You're
Shannon.
The part
we love
of the family that I adore. I love you, dear. Tenley Melton, Sophia McKeever Parks, Christopher Genovesio. Got that one.
You're so excited with any Italian name.
McKenna Matal, Faisal Quadri, Alyssa Barton, Mikel Gia Camaro. I don't know. Hey.
Oh.
Samira Russell, Lee Fitzgerald.
Usually the GIA is like Jock.
I know. Jacamaro? No, it can't be right.
Jacamaro, probably.
But that's right. Yeah. Brittany Boltman, Mary Farenkruger? No, Farenkrug. Deborah.
Mary Fartenkrug. Thank you. No, I'm sorry. Your name is not Fartenkrug.
She's been called that her whole goddamn life. Yeah. Deidre Maxwell, Ryan Heathman, Kevin Goodwin, Wayne Hopkins, Dude with no Dude. There's something else with that.
Dude.
Right. Stephanie Poole, Mindy Walker, Kathleen Bowman, Dakota Reiser, Cheddar Cat, Deborah Cassidy, Will Thompson, Janelle Brown, Kelsey. God damn it,
yeah.
Kelsey Driscoll, Denise Heffel, Robert Lewis, Josh Tapman, and Ashley with no last name, and every goddamn Patreon supporter. We see you guys. We appreciate you. You guys change everything for us, and you make this so much easier. And
thank you.
Fucking viable. We
Honestly,
love you.
Thank you for everything. You guys do, and we hope you enjoy the bonus stuff like we'll put up this week and everything like that. And I don't know. We always say if you're donating to us, it's not for like bonus shit or anything like that.
Right.
Just donate if you like the show, and if you think that if you think that listening to a bunch of it, you feel like you want to give us a couple bucks, then great, do it. Don't be like, well, you're not buying anything.
We're not twisting your arm for this shit. But when you do it, it really...
It makes us try so much harder. You have no idea.
It really gives us so much motivation.
You're ensuring us to have that anxiety that makes us go, God, we have to really do this. If they don't like it, then I'll be sad because they gave me money, so I feel like I should give them something they like. So it's that anxiety that fuels us to keep doing this shit, and thank you so much for that.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you. And what if they wanted to get a hold of you, Jimmie,
and tell you
that you were amazing?
Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, and you guys, you already follow me there. Every week you make my week, so thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Where can they find you?
Oh, boy. You can find me at Jimmie P is Funny, or just copy and paste my last name from the show description and do it that way. And you'll find me eventually, and I'm on there, and, you'll hear me complain and all that sort of shit. But that said, it's been a wild episode. Mm-hmm. All sorts of runestone madness and craziness. And thank you guys for hanging out with us once again.
I got to get back to my Dungeons & Dragons tournament.
Jesus. Jimmie, that's on hold. Don't worry. They can't play without the both of us.
Right.
So, I mean, I have the dice in my pocket, so... Ain't nobody playing right now. With that said, everybody, thank you so much, and we'll keep continuing to come back. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye!
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus